Because you've got powerful legs. How'd you get the physique? Was it gym or how'd you get the physique?
I've always been...
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
That's your knowing mind.
Move him out of here, Darren.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing nutters messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump, you know what I'm saying?
Welcome, everybody, to the 565th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse. Proud member of the Sports Social Network, also on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, all that good stuff. We would love it if you would leave us a 5-star review if you feel we have earned it. If you do not feel that we have earned it, well, then Andy will dance naked for you live on camera. This is the length that we are willing to go in order to get a 5-star review. Sorry, Andy. This is what has to be done.
I'll smoke a bong of spice for that one then, mate.
You're going to have to do something. It'll probably end up looking like Buffalo Bill in front of the mirror. But anyhow, we have had quite a busy week of action ahead of us. Not a whole lot behind us, but we'll go ahead with what we did see. Dalton Smith taking out Jose Zepeda relatively early with a body shot stoppage. Zepeda seemed like he might have something left, but as was mentioned by somebody in the Nutters group, kind of reminded them of Jose Luis Castillo against Hatton. Just couldn't hold the shot, and we kind of had seen the last of him possibly. But Smith moves onwards and upwards. Definitely the biggest win of his career, Steve. But as we were thinking, if Zepeda had something left, he might have really given Smith some trouble. But I don't think he had anything really left.
No, that was an interesting comparison you made there. I hadn't considered that before, and I missed it in the Nutters chat, the Castillo Hatton one, and an interesting mention of Hatton as well, because it was the night of the Hattons. We'll obviously get onto young Campbell later, but that was a good comparison, whoever made that.
I'm trying to remember. I wish I could give him credit, but I'll just take credit for it.
Yeah, you just. I think it was something you probably would have said, to be honest. So we'll give you the pat on the back for that one. Shout out to Barry Jones as well on commentary. I think he made an interesting stylistic observation about Zepeda early on. He said he's rushing around and he's falling in, and I noticed that as well. He was trying to catch Smith with everything he could, and he was rushing and falling into the shots, and it was the old breadbasket finish, as they said, the little body shot. It reminded me of the shot Daniel Geale caught Darren Barker with. Ironically, Barker was on commentary. He got through that, and it was his big moment when he won the world title. But Zepeda just had nothing left, did he, really? I mean, the shot hit him, and he stopped and went down on his haunches a bit, thought about it, and then he went down. And if you get caught with a quality-paced body shot, it was... there you are. Thomas Newman has claimed the comparison, to shout at Thomas Newman from the Nutters chat. But yeah, the shot of the night from Smith. We knew from the Baranchik fight that Zepeda was a little bit vulnerable. He'd fought Jose Ramirez in the past, given a good account of himself. Regis Prograde took a long time to stop him. He'd lost to Richardson Hitchens, who's not the kind of guy who really blasts you out, but sort of breaks you down, death by 1,000 cuts. And he's lost to Dalton Smith now. It just seems to be conclusive. Maybe he's going to retire. Who knows what he was coming in with? One of the commentators, I think it was Mike Costello, mentioned that he'd been talking retirement beforehand, which is obviously a surefire danger sign going into the fight. And I thought, how much more does he really want it now? And the question was, he did his best, the best that he could, but it was pretty much like conclusive, like his last appearance on British soil to Terry Flanagan when he hurt his shoulder. This time, though, Smith absolutely did a number on him, and it was a step-up fight for Dalton Smith. Beforehand, a lot of people thought that he might struggle, and he produced a statement win. Didn't get cut either, which has been a problem for him in the past. And yeah, this is the step between sort of British and world level for him that he needs. He'll need another step up after this as well. The European champion is Adam Azim. A lot of people are talking about that fight. Azim's still very young, but it's an all-British clash that we'd love to see. But the night belongs to Dalton Smith by virtue of his body shot, and also, as you mentioned, Matty, by virtue of the fact that there was no one else really fighting this weekend.
Yeah, he was the star of the weekend based on no better alternative, unfortunately.
Lack of inactivity.
so go him. Joining us on the call also, we have Andy Patterson and Dez. Dez, swing it over to you real quick. One, do you think that maybe it's just been a very kind of steady decline with ZEPEDA since the Baranchek fight? And two, what options are you seeing for Smith following this victory?
I thought ZEPEDA was the perfect opponent for Smith, who's graduated from domestic class and he's dipping his toe in at world level. But as we spoke about last week, you've got to get the right people in to ask you questions, but they should challenge you, but they shouldn't really beat you. And ZEPEDA was a guy brought in to challenge Dalton, but not really to beat him. And I think Steve touched on the Richardson-Hitchens loss. It was a death by 1,000 cuts. And two before that, Prograis beat him. And I think the writing's on the wall for ZEPEDA. But I think for the first 2 rounds, he showed a lot of intention. He was very direct. He gave Smith things to think about. And it was really interesting to watch Smith adjust. And I watched Smith go from, say, the first 2 minutes of the first round, someone who was a little bit cocky and a little bit sure of himself, to someone in round 2 and 3 that reverted to get myself some distance. I'm going to be happy with single shots, and I'm not going to overcook this one. And I'm going to take it into sort of 5, 6, 7 round territory. But it was a brilliant body shot, took everything out of ZEPEDA. And it was probably the shot ZEPEDA just didn't want at that stage in the fight, in that stage in his career. I like the way Smith turned it around, although it was only a slight turn, but he did have things to think about. He did have to adjust. I enjoyed the fight and I enjoyed watching Smith. I think that's the end of ZEPEDA, but I go back to it. He was brought in to ask questions. He wasn't brought in to beat him, but Smith still had a job to do.
Well, and he did it well enough. Yeah, I mean, at least it was conclusive and not like Hitchens just kind of drawing it out when you kind of felt like all he had to do was step on the gas and he might have been able to finish it.
What did you think of the finish, Matty? I'm interested.
I just think it's just older fighter and just couldn't take it to the body anymore, and he got one stuffed in there.
Just the shot he didn't need, like Des said. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you catch something like that when you're holding breath, you're in bad shape too. Yeah, but that's a hard thing to see, like if they've taken in a breath or if they've released. Anyhow, the super nerdy aspect. But Andy, we could talk about Smith obviously as the winner, but I want to do this just out of courtesy for ZEPEDA. One of the craziest fights I have ever seen in my life, Andy, was him against Baranchek, and I think there was 6 or 7 knockouts and another one that wasn't scored. It was happening during the summer of the 2020 when we really needed some sort of a boost. And that fight was absolutely incredible. As I said, one of the craziest fights that I've ever seen. And take everything else away from his career, the close losses against big names, etc., etc. But I will always be grateful for Jose ZEPEDA for giving us that night when I think we really needed it most.
I can remember the fight, mate. It was one of those fights that was in the bubble, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
It was one
Yes,
of
sir.
those MGM.
Yeah, like no crowd or anything. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm also, I think I'd maybe seen Baranchik's first loss, possibly. I think we fought, he fought Josh Taylor in Scotland, didn't he?
He did. Yeah,
he did,
was
aye.
in,
So I was at that
the
fight, aye. So
Sisters.
that was a year before we shut down. Yeah, look, to be fair, Steve said that as well, as with that fight, you know, we all believe that was his apex, kind of like his prime over with the Prograis fight, kind of. It was a slow beat down, but it was a bad beating as well toward the end. He was cut up, I'm sure, in that as well. To be fair, with that shot that he took right in the solar plexus, it does stun you. It can take everything out of you, and you can see the actual response to him in that as well. He didn't know whether to go down straight away because it was actually just froze him, and then obviously took the knee. I actually thought that he was maybe expecting the right hand to come upstairs. That's the reason why he kind of left the kind of opening to the middle of his body. He's had his time now, mate, as well. I think it's time for him to go. I mean, there were some rumours going about there the last couple of days that he's talking about retirement. Never a good sign. Don't know about the type of training camp he's had. Clearly, some people believe he's in it for the money. Depending on which side of the fence you're on, i.e., which side of the Atlantic you're on, Dalton Smith was absolutely fantastic, whereas the Americans are no slightly too impressed still, I don't think. I think they're still wanting to see we more kind of higher classy opponent, probably because the class in ZEPEDA is slightly over the hill. One, obviously, if you look at some of the names at 140 and that, I think Eddie has got a decent pick of fighters there, but at the same time, I would be interested to see if he's still got anything left. Considering that was meant to be Dalton Smith's step up, would any be interested to see him facing Regis Prograis next? So I want to see what Prograis got left, and if Dalton Smith can do something with Prograis, especially he can maybe do it in 5, 6, 7 rounds, that I would class as a proper statement. Because
that's a nice shout, yeah.
ZEPEDA has been over the course, Matt, as you said. He's got the miles, he's got the injuries, he's got all the scar wounds, that type of thing. Prograis has been handled once easily, but
is he ready to be? Is he ready to be brought in as the opponent yet? Though that's kind of an ego fight.
I don't know a bit. Oh, you got what? Liam Paro, I think, is an Eddie fighter.
He's fighting. He's fighting Matias.
So right, and then you've got Catrill's fighting Taylor, or it's been rearranged, I believe, anyway.
I think it's a big jump, Andy, don't you?
Yeah, it's a big jump, mate. But then again, it's what Eddie's calling for on that as well. You could theoretically claim as they try to kind of make the jump be Adam Azim early doors, because they know with the boxer situation, and maybe try to catch Azim. Maybe he's just a wee bit too green still, possibly. He is still young. Smith's 27, 28. Got that physical man strength now.
I don't know what Prograis has left anymore, though. Like I feel like he's just
he was shocking in that fight.
He's having a hard time pulling the trigger.
Well, I just think if you're talking about world level and that, I mean, you mentioned Liam Paro, he's ranked world level. I think Prograis still mixed them in. It would be interesting to see, as I say, what Prograis would have left for that type of fight. Would they be up for it? And I just think if Smith would take that as scalp, then we're talking,
But I think if you're Eddie and you're waiting for this Adam Azim thing, or you're waiting for a little bit of movement at the top end at 140, I think maybe, and I like the idea of the Prograis coming over, but maybe what you said, we don't quite know what Prograis got left, and it would be a huge roll of the dice for Eddie to put one of his best fighters in to find out. So I look at that 140 division, and I think Ishmael Barroso is a safer bet, and I think he probably comes with a little bit more reward. Just while we're keeping.
Well, yeah, he's the interim titleist right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But he'll be tied to the PBC in some manner for the Romero
fight. He's the interim titleist, and he's going to fight. He's down to fight the winner of Romero Cruz, isn't he? So he'll be hanging on for that, because it was mandated, wasn't it, after the dodgy stoppage, and then they give him a few pounds, step aside, I think, so they could fight Cruz Romero.
You say that, Des, but Barroso, I mean, he's been fucking knocking over people with that left hand, and it was only shoddy refereeing that ultimately secured Raleigh's win over him. I mean, it was fuck that. I think that's far riskier than Prograis at this point in time. I don't care that Barroso's older. His recent form is stronger than Prograis.
I think Dalton Smith beats OD handily. I think he beats Rowley handily. I think Dalton Smith beats Barroso. I take your point. There's not a lot between Barroso, and I'm edging towards Barroso, because of his age, and I think you can get to him. And I'm a little bit. I'm convinced that you can get to Barroso because I saw Crawler do it 4 or 5, 6 years ago. So I think Dalton Smith can do it. But if not
That was
Barroso,
a weight
what do you think
drain,
about
Barroso.
Sand?
That was at 135 as well.
Was, yeah. It was, yeah. They'd done the right job with him. But what about Sandor Martin?
That's a tricky fight. I mean, they put him in against Tio, thinking that would be an easy out for Tio.
I'm sure
he
he
is
had a fight
boxing, and
recently.
that little. And I'll tell you what, though, what would worry me about him is if he can make Smith chase him. It's that little sneaky right check hook that he has. I think he could just work Smith around the ring with that shot all night long.
Since the Lopez loss, Martin's been fighting 2 8-rounders last year.
Yeah, I wonder if he's tricky, very tricky for him at this stage. Des, he might mess Dalton around. You know, ZEPEDA was,
yeah.
was kind of there to be hit to a certain degree. Martin would just be running around, very athletic, isn't he? Very difficult. You could see Smith getting frustrated, maybe. Struggling to pin him down. It'd be a difficult style to handle.
But do you accept that Devin Haney's part of the elite group?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if we take Devin Haney aside, a very, very close fight with a very good Josh Taylor is the only blemish on Progray's record. And I think it would be a roll of the dice to put Dalton in with him.
Yeah.
Why not Montana Love?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Montana really needs a W. He's shown himself to be vulnerable. I think he's still got some ranking. I think there's at least some value of upward momentum based on that fight. Personally,
I think they'd put him in quicker than Paro because Paro's sort of world ranked. They were talking about him fighting Matias. He'd be a handful for anybody.
Matias. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it
so
made?
So maybe have him fight Paro after Matias because fuck knows what he'll have left after that.
Well, the two of them might look like they've been through the meat grinder, exactly.
I'll tell you, Paro's not out of that fight though. He can bang, man.
Someone's saying in the chat there, Matty, that Progray's manager apparently is trying to make that fight now. Apparently with Dalton Smith. So
that's interesting enough. And for the like, if I was to say that Smith has a good shot in that fight, it's partly because I feel like Progray has one foot out of the sport. He's like training and grappling for MMA and shit like that.
He's mid-30s now as well, you know.
If Progray's manager's phoning up about a Dalton Smith fight, that shows you where the manager and or Regis's mindset is at the moment with boxing.
Yeah, and Progray, he's one of those people where I wish that he was a little less cocky and he had better management throughout his career because I just feel like he definitely didn't get the most out of his best years. It was kind of
made a lot of bag though. Made a lot of bag, and also he's had a few movie roles or low key ones, but still, he's earning money. So
put it all into them Mexican timeshares, didn't he, Andy?
I don't know what he done with his money, to be fair, mate, but
he's off on Twitter about it a couple of years ago.
And imagine those guys that competed in WBSS all the years ago and that were handsomely rewarded. So
yeah,
silk pajamas time,
Come stay with Regis Progray, ole! Anyway,
I would just like to see Eddie just take the risk for once, and that. Rather just kind of like, either by Michael Katsidas, for example, bring an absolutely washed out fighter. It's interesting to see.
Well, we will see what happens next for Dalton Smith. I just hope ZEPEDA retires. Fantastic fighter, injury plagued. He was going to beat Flanagan, no problem without that injury. I don't know. It just kind of sucks. What could have been? He ran some really good fighters very, very close.
Yeah, I'm not sure about no problem, but I do agree with you on that. There was no, that it looks bad on his record now, but it would have been a fight and a half, wouldn't it? I would have picked him to probably beat Flanagan as well.
It's just one of them freak things, it happens. So, but anyways, let's see here. Further down the card, what did we have? What do we want to go to next? Let's do this one next. I'll tell you what, Steve, he might have lost to Flint, but Campbell Hatton, despite that loss, I'm going to give him some credit. I'm going to say what that kid showed me just in loss, hanging in there, eating them, still trying to throw back, still trying to win the whole way. he might not be his dad. He might not be, anywhere among the best. He might not be a Titleist of any sort one day. But Campbell Hatton is a fighter. Hats off to the kid.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with that. He might not be his dad, but he might be his uncle. Well, he's not even going to be his uncle, is he? Let's be honest, because Matthew was a decent enough fighter. I know he gets sort of laughed upon, but he did well on those Las Vegas undercards. Very tough guy. Went the 12 with Canelo, and that's so he was no slouch. But
He knew how to go the distance, and
yeah,
that's a skill.
He did, and he did well. He lost early in his career, I think, to the likes of Theophane. And he fought Alan. He might have fought Alan Bosworth at one point.
David Kirk beat him. I think David Kirk beat him, didn't he, Steve?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, we're going back a long time now. I'm trying to remember some of the names, but he was a good fighter. He was a tough guy, as Matty says. He was able to survive and that. But I wasn't actually listening to the commentary in this fight up until about round 9. I was doing other bits and pieces on in the background, but I was definitely watching the fight and all. And I thought, I'll put it on for the last round. And Darren Barker come on. He was like, oh, it could be who wants it more in this last round. And I was thinking, surely Flint must be winning this fight, man. I can't see how they would have had Campbell ahead, but that's what Barker was saying. I just thought Flint picked all the right shots at the right times. The uppercut, the jab early on, the left hook was working, the right hand. He just was fitter, more experienced. He just had more fights, more durable, more fights at a better level than Campbell. Campbell looked stunned to me in the 8th round. He looked stunned again in the 10th.
He looked like his dad against fucking Sinchenko, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Neither of them had any great power, was the thing. He tried. He was fit. He tried to throw shots to the body. He didn't just wilt, and hats off to him. It was a good learning fight. We knew what he was. Could he improve? We saw Conor Benn pretty raw early on in his career, and he's improved into, no matter what we say about him, into a better fighter than he was when he turned pro. Campbell didn't have much of an amateur pedigree. He has definitely improved. He's had a lot of advantages, signing with Matchroom, endorsements, training full-time, guys like Flint or some of the other fellas he's fought, probably are just working full-time jobs and that. But Flint was just experienced. He fought at that level. He was a title holder. And he just, as I said, picked the right shots at the right time. Campbell isn't quite this level at the moment, area level, which is no shame really, but they're building him up to be something he isn't. He could potentially come back, learn and win the rematch after this sort of prep fight that Eddie was talking about. But is he going to even win a British title, which is a very, very good level domestically? I don't think so at the moment, based on what I'm seeing. But that said, for undercard fights, if he's going to be in exciting brawls and he's not afraid to know what he is and fight that way, I think he'd be a good staple of the undercards. And as I said, he has got a lot of pressure on him. He spoke very well. And I do feel sorry for the kid. In some respect, he's just trying to take advantage of the opportunities that have been presented to him. But clearly, skill-wise, he just doesn't have it. But for moving forward, this 10 rounds will be an invaluable 10 rounds for the rest of his career, wherever that'll end up.
Yeah, absolutely. Much like his dad got himself in trouble in ways, he's got to avoid smothering himself on the inside, give himself some room to work, etc. But Des, I gotta, again on the side of Campbell Hatton, I was actually kind of impressed with Flint. I don't think he's a fighter without anything to give at this level either. I think there's plenty of 140-pound fights at the domestic level where he's a real player.
Well, when you say real player, I mean, we're a bit closer to British boxing, perhaps, than what you are. So I would say he has a ceiling, and I think Flint will bounce somewhere between. If we're talking about Flint, are you asking me about Flint, Matty?
Yes, sir.
I think Flint bounces somewhere between area level, English level, and on a very good day, he can fight for a British title. I don't think he'll ever win a British title. I think Flint, the difference between Flint and Campbell last night, they were both rugged, they were both dogged, they both threw high volume of punches, but Flint knew how to hit targets, and Campbell's not quite learned that. I think
good ring IQ too. That way he started finding the uppercut in the last half of the fight was really impressive. He got really sneaky with it.
Well, I think what can sometimes happen if you've got a marauding fighter that can't punch and he's not landing, you do get comfortable in that pocket and you look for gaps and you're throwing 1 to his 4, but your one's landing. So it's not about how many punches you throw, it's about how many punches you can land. Last night, we was all on the conversation together, and last night there was an opportunity for the judges to be distracted by Campbell's punch output. I'm really glad that didn't happen because the cleaner work come from Flint. He was more measured. He was sitting in the pocket, throwing one to Campbell's 4, but his one was hitting the target. And you're absolutely right. It was a good observation. As I got past round 7 and he buzzed Campbell, he was starting to bring them up and bring them around. But I go back to it. The strength of Jimmy Flint last night was his punches were landing. And that was the difference between the two kids. And if I could just say, if you follow this trait down the line, this is probably a byproduct of when you're a junior kid boxing for, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to amateur clubs and amateur coaches, but when you're a junior kid boxing for a pretty average amateur club, your remit is generally head down and just throw. And that can win you a lot of fights at an intermediate level in the juniors. Campbell turned pro straight out the juniors. So he's never experienced 18. He's never been an 18-year-old kid against a 25-year-old in the amateurs, where the 25-year-old's got his man strength and he can really pick you off. So Campbell's continued his amateur junior traits into the pros, and it's got him this far. Now we've seen a few times in his pro career where we thought he's lucky to get that one. And I think if you speak to any of the guys in the chat, anyone on the panel today, we all knew Campbell would get caught out a long way before British level. And he did last night. Going back to what Steve said, and it's the first time I've heard anyone make the comparison, we shouldn't be comparing Campbell to Ricky. We should be comparing him to Matthew. And Matthew was an intermediate amateur, turned over. Matthew didn't quite throw quite as many punches as what Campbell does because Matthew wasn't trying to be his brother. And maybe that's what Campbell needs to do now. Stop trying to be your dad, be more like your uncle. And his uncle Matthew lost 2 fights in 6 months in his career. And his uncle Matthew lost domestic fights. But his uncle Matthew also learned how to be a very solid pro. So there's still legs in
Learned
Campbell.
how to take the steam off of shots really well. Like he got touched, but he didn't get touched really hard. He was kind of clever with some things.
Yeah, and I think you have to say that Matthew developed into a solid pro. And they got the right fight for him at the right time. But he also took some losses too. And he lost some domestic ones against good kids like Craig Watson. But I think that's the direction Campbell wants to go in, to be more like his uncle and develop as a solid pro of a level. But I think last night we saw, had Campbell been in there with a puncher, he would have been in big, big trouble.
I think as well, Matty, just doubling back off what Des said there, Matthew did have some good wins. Ted Barmy, Love More and Do, he drew with him. Gianluca Branco, you remember, is a good European level kind of fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely even getting to Matthew's level would be very good. But also what Des said, I liked Flint's accuracy. He was landing between Hatton's flurries. And as he said, Hatton was putting himself off balance and that, and Flint was catching him with a shot that was making him sort of look wobbly to the judges. And also Flint's accuracy was complemented by his fitness. He was able to do the same things for 10 rounds, and after about 5 or 6, Campbell was starting to flag and starting to tire, and Flint was able to do the same things over and over again and just steadily bring the pace up and land those shots in between. And that was what won in the fight, his accuracy and his fitness.
You know, I mean, if Campbell wants to try to figure out how that style is going to work for him, he had to get in the gym with William ZEPEDA. You know, follow whatever this guy is doing. It makes this
can't punch
pressure.
though, can he? That's the thing, and he it's like he squares up a lot as well.
Neither could Jeff Fennick. You know, and towards the end of his career, neither could Calzaghe. It's all about your footwork and how you use the activity of your hands to become your defense. You know, I know people laughed at some of the punches that Calzaghe was throwing at Hopkins, but Calzaghe's activity kept Hopkins' hands at home, and that's how he won. But he didn't wind up on shots, didn't throw huge looping punches. It was just almost just like working fitness on the bag, just doing tap shots to work on your cardio.
Campbell was just that and nothing else though, wasn't he, last night? Like, I think he needs to learn maybe how to step off and box a bit and then use that fitness and that ability to throw a lot of shots at particular moments. Last night he was just doing that non-stop until he tired.
I'll tell you, and everybody knows I love his dad and probably talk about him too much. But I went back the other day and I watched of all the fights, Ricky against Paulie Malignaggi, which was his first fight with Floyd Mayweather Sr. And that was the best that I had seen Ricky look in quite some time. And it was. And he gave himself space. He used his feints again. He didn't load up on the hook all the times. Where he really fucked with Malignaggi was throwing the lead right hand because he was looking for the left hook the whole time. And it's just, you got to find that right place. And and being a pressure fighter is a whole lot more than just throwing punches.
Yeah, you mentioned ZEPEDA, Matty, sorry, just quickly from last week against Hughes. Like, he sort of had a look, didn't he, that first round? Then he just gently moved the pace up, started doing things. They worked, did them more, and then all of a sudden he was like cranking up, the pace bit after bit. It wasn't just from the first bell. There was more thought to it than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Andy, to bring you in on this, like I think if you're wanting a good way to look at a pressure fighter, go back and look at Margarito, man. Like, that guy was just like a freight train, man. It took a little bit for him to build that head of steam, but once it was moving, you couldn't stop him. You could park a bus on the tracks and he's going to knock it off. You got to make, that's your intended style, you got to find out how to make it work. And I don't think that Campbell quite, and he has the pieces together. He's got an idea of what he wants to be as a fighter, but he doesn't exactly know how to put it all into form.
You're probably the worst time to bring me in, mate. I never seen the fight, to be honest with you. I never seen any of the undercard.
Fuck it. You love Margarito. Who cares?
To be from what I read anyway, at least he gave it a go, and as someone else said that as well, at least he's fought for an area level belt, Conor Ben, hasn't he? So I'll finish at that.
If I can make a point though, Matty,
of course.
You said about fighters towards the end of their careers, they lacked a bit of dig, and you mentioned Calzaghe, and you're absolutely right. The difference is though that people like Calzaghe, they stopped 18, 19 of their first 20, and at this level, at area level, if you're going to have any chance to survive at top end, you need to be able to crack. And I'm trying to think now, you're boxing. Can you think of a kid that perhaps developed a punch as he went through his career? So, for example, in his first 10, he might have stopped 3 or 4. His first 20, he might have stopped 7 or 8. But then when he got into world class, he seemed to find his hands and he found strength. The best example
I'm struggling for a name, Des.
Yeah.
Conor Ben?
I think more so than discovered his punch. I think a lot of the times what you find in Campbell didn't find that is a lot of these guys, they're not big punchers, but their volume, if given the chance to fight more than 6, more than 8 rounds, then more than 10 rounds, they start piling up stoppages. But the one person I would say, Sergio Martinez.
I don't recall Sergio early on. In fact, I do recall
Sergio Martinez has about a 50% knockout ratio throughout his career. And think about his last 10, 12 fights of his career.
He was a puncher.
Yeah, he knocked out Bunima. He knocked out Barker. He knocked out Macklin. He knocked out Kerman Cintron and got robbed of the decision. Et cetera, et cetera. But and Paul Williams, obviously. But Martinez definitely became a puncher, and I think that was due to him finding that he didn't have to use his wheels the whole fight and learning how to be a little bit more of an elusive pocket fighter, finding the angles.
I can't think of anybody at the moment, believe it or not, but one person, Des, who might become like that, given the pro-grade performance, is Devin Haney when he's not stretching himself down in weight. Pro-grade remarked on how hard he seemed to be hitting and all, so maybe the weight making as well could be a factor in his case in particular.
Oh, he's gonna knock out Ryan Garcia. I'm fucking confident of it. I don't know about you guys, but I think
Steve,
the fuck out.
I think Devin at 147 is a monster, and I think he goes through people. I totally agree. I think
Do you think that's his peak, like Crawford?
Yeah. I think once he gets to that elite group, they seem to travel 2 or 3 weights and they sit on a weight, and it becomes the new normal for them. And I think that's a great example, really, Steve. I think Devon at 147, because he's not a puncher, but he stings and he's got great accuracy. And going back to what Matty said, when you get into that 12-round territory, after round 7, your stinging, snapping punches and your accuracy, it really makes a difference. And I think that's what the guys like the Devons, I think that's what make them heavy-handed. That's what gets them the knockouts. But answering my own question, I don't know if you remember this one, Steve or Andy. I don't know if this is perhaps a bit remote for you, Matty. You might do. The only domestic fighter I can remember who developed a punch, but he never got beyond domestic class, was Stevie Roberts.
Don't know that name.
No, the West Ham middleweight. He was a pure boxer, and he had a really good style. But I think his trainer changed him and got him to plant his feet, and then he found the punch. And I think that's what can sometimes happen. And maybe that's where people like James Flint and Campbell Hatton go. Maybe it's a change in style, that the pure boxer's not, it gets you to a level. But if you want to get respect off kids, and if you want to push kids back, and if you want to capitalize on the 12-round distance, I think you need to plant your feet a bit and learn how to sit down on your punches. And dare I say, even go up a weight. But just lastly, sorry, Matty, to dominate the conversation.
No.
If you don't want to develop a punch, if it's just not in you, then the best example that I can think of was an Ian Napper, who was absolutely brilliant and had no power at all.
Yeah,
I'm going to one up you. I'm going to say Yvonne Calderon. During his first 25 fights is some of the most masterful pure boxing that I think that have happened in the last 25 years.
Napper was really good, even up at European level, fighting against the likes of Malajotu and stuff. For someone with no punch, like Napper was good. And I remember Stevie Roberts days around that sort of era on Sky, late 90s, early 2000s. They'd done away with the British titles, and Roberts was a long reigning, I think, WBF champion, and there was a lot of good fighters around the light middleweight division around that time. You had Anthony Farnell, Takalu, Richard Williams. There were a few of them that should have fought each other. I don't think Roberts ended up fighting any of them before he got picked off by Andrei Pestreev, which was a shame, but they were going that WBU, IBO, WBF kind of route at that time.
Ian Napper, the British Ivan Calderon.
Yeah, he was a great fighter.
And may I say, Ian, he was probably 2 weights out of where he naturally should have been.
Yeah,
because he couldn't get fights down there.
That's right.
So he was 2 weights out, sometimes 3 weights out, competing at European level.
Well, that was a nice little sidetrack, I thought there. That was enjoyable. Let's see here. To get back into that card, let's see here. Also on there, Ishmael Davis taking on Troy Williamson. I believe you got the decision in that one. Steve, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually kind of started dozing off during that one and just...
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I'm not really familiar with Davis. I saw him in his last fight against Mackenzie. He's a bit of a switch hitter. I think he did the distance very well. I was interested to see it's a relatively quick turnaround for Troy Williamson. He went in against Kevin Ajako in his last fight. So from a kind of prospect stroke contender level comparison between Davis and Ajako, it was interesting to see how the two of them dealt with him. I felt Ajako kept Williamson at bay better with his jab, whereas Williamson was coming in for the first 5 or 6 rounds a bit easier on Davis. And then once Davis got the range, he was landing looping shots. Troy seems to stay in range a little bit too long at times. And I thought it was a perfectly good, very good domestic performance from Davis, who's going places. Yeah, I saw Nico Levars as well against Peter Merger. Levars boxed really well, stopped him in the 9th. He seems to cut. He's cut in the past, Levars, and people who he's fought have cut. That's what happened in his only draw as well. So that could be a cause for concern. But
that was a fun fight, I thought.
Yeah, it was. The opponent came to. They said before the opponent's come to fight, and you think, oh, here we go. But he actually did come to fight. To be fair, but it was pretty well matched, his own card from top to bottom, actually.
Yeah, that one I found enjoyable enough. So off of the Davis Williamson fight. So, Des, do you think maybe the next logical step then might be Davis against Ajako?
I'm not sure. I think last night was a big step up for Ishmael. Is it Ishmael Davis, isn't it? Yeah, I know him as Ishmael. So I think that was a big step up for Ishmael. And it was his coming out night. And Troy was the perfect opponent. Troy's incredibly honest. And it sometimes breaks me out watching Troy because he's a real honest fighter. And it seems to be a little bit unfair when you get a real tricky, cagey, counter-punching fighter against him. And that's what we had last night. Ishmael was very good. He was like, if you can imagine, for those who didn't see it, it was a typical Floyd Mayweather type stance, wasn't it? It was like he had his chin behind his shoulder and his right hand up and his left hand down, and he was rolling and just popping back ones and twos and then getting out, spinning off. And it was really hard for Troy to figure out. I think Ishmael's got legs, but to answer your question, Matty, I think we'll have to see him at a British level for another 2 or 3 fights because Ishmael's not a puncher. His record doesn't suggest he's a puncher. And it would be nice to see how he'd adapt if someone figured out his style. And like I say, Troy was a bit too honest for his own good last night. And he was coming in his straight lines and expecting Ishmael to be there, and he wasn't. So good win for Ishmael. I'm sorry for Troy. Although he did have spells in the latter stages where he tried to get back into it and he had a bit of success, but it was a shutout for me. But I'd like to see Ishmael at domestic level. So,
what about Davis against Josh Kelly?
I don't think they'll do that. I'd like
early for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd like that, Matty. I don't want to be contrary all the time with you, but I'd like that. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think
they still have some more dollars they can suck out of Kelly if they match him right.
I just don't think people in the Ishmael Davis business would do that. I think they've got something with Ishmael, and it's about timing now. And Ishmael's hung around long enough, and he's lived a life, so I think he'll be steady. And Josh Kelly, I think he's probably got his sights set higher than Ishmael Davis. So I just think they're on different pathways. But I'd like the fight, but I don't think they'll do that to Ishmael just yet. I think Ishmael's got a little bit of learning to do. Or as good as he looked yesterday, Troy was pretty basic, very honest, come forward in straight lines and was there to be hit. I'd like to see someone that can challenge Ishmael and ask a few more questions of him. And maybe in 1 or 2 fights, we know a bit more about him.
Good analysis. Andy, did you happen to catch this fight on 5x speed?
Negative.
Okay. Let's see here. So I think the last fight to cover in that one, a little bit of a surprise as far as how the victory happened. Sandy Ryan basically just beating the snot out of Terry Harper. Her corner pulling her out after the 4th round. Sandy Ryan picking up a belt at 147 pounds. I got to tell you, Steve, this move to Vegas and the training is doing something because she looked sharp. She looked vicious. Just smacked Terry Harper around like she did not belong in the same ring with her.
Yeah, I think so. I know before they were saying about those they'd sparred in the past and they wanted to fight Terry at her weight and all this business. And Sandy Ryan's developed into a decent fighter. She has been moved very quickly. As you mentioned, I'm no expert in this, obviously, but I think a power was just too much for Harper. Harper looked like she was struggling to hold a shot. She was in against a bigger woman who could punch accurately. And by the 4th round, she just looked lost. I was glad that Steffi Ball pulled her out and just said, that's it. You know, we could all move on to the main event. And Ryan's onwards and upwards. Harper's talking about that. I think Steffi Ball was tweeting out or Instagramming or something about rebuilding and all this, but I think she might have to rebuild in a different career. But as for Sandy Ryan, she's been moved fast, but she's clearly got talent. I know she rubs people up the wrong way and that, but she's a decent fighter. And wasn't it McCaskill she drew with last time? Was that a bit of a controversial draw?
A little bit of a contentious one. Jess definitely was winning the latter half of that.
They'll look to make that again, I would imagine, won't they?
Well, McCaskill's fighting Lauren Price now for a couple of belts, so I imagine the winner of that against Sandy Ryan.
Well, if it's Price, though, then there's the whole Sky DAZN sort of boxer Eddie conflict, isn't there?
Yeah, but you know, it's when it comes to these women's fights, because there's so few opportunities and the money only shows itself in so many places, they tend to take those fights when they can get them and just go across the lines.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's hope so. Yeah, a decent card all in all. The women's fight was good as well.
Yeah. Des, any thoughts on that particular ass whooping?
I remember Terry Harper coming into the pros, and she was probably like, so I see women's boxing a bit like this, and it's not to be disrespectful to the code. It's just because it's in its very early phases, and we've gone from the likes of Anne Wolfe and Jane Couch into what we have now. And from this group, we're getting the Katie Taylors and the Amanda Serranos and that good bunch that, you know, we're picking off the top. But in between that, we seem to have an awful lot of girls that are 30% boxer, 70% story. And I felt that Terry Harper was one of them. She was 70% story. And I remember in the days of Sky, we was told, you know, what degree she'd completed and what she'd done for a living. And she worked in a chip shop. And this time last year, she was peeling potatoes, and that's her partner. And she's a real character. And I always felt that they were selling us Terry Harper, and she wasn't really what we was told. And I think Alicia Baumgardner ripped the soul out of Terry Harper that night. And I wouldn't be surprised if Terry Harper and her coach have sat down at some point and had a conversation which has gone something like, let's get you back on the saddle. Let's maneuver you into some fights that suit us. And who is the girl from Scotland that was 2 weights up that she bought? I forget her name. She fought for a world title, and Terry Harper beat her. Dennis Hobson's kid.
Hannah Rankin?
Hannah Rankin. So the Hannah Rankin was a safe bet. Okay, let's do that. And then they've kind of manoeuvred. They didn't want to take the Jonas rematch, and they've manoeuvred her around. They didn't want to take the Baumgardner rematch. And I just kind of felt that this was all wrong for Terry Harper. And when the going got tough in there, she got out. And there was no fight back. There was no pushback from Terry. It was almost a case of, I'm not about this life. And they got her out of there. And I was a bit disappointed. I'd expect more from a 2-weight world champion. I'd expect more from someone that was fighting for a title. But it is what it is. I thought Sandy was very good. She was one of them women that really wants to sit down on her punches and means what she throws. And if I could just touch on something we spoke about last week. Steve, do you remember we spoke about Dennis McCann sitting down in the corner, and Joe McAnally said to Dennis, take your time, be patient.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that he let Brad off the hook last week.
Yeah.
Well, last night, the American trainer in Sandy's corner said the complete opposite. He said his exact words were, stop this amateur tippy-tappy shit, plant your feet and let your hands go. And she certainly did. And I like that language in a corner from a trainer. That's a trainer that can see something. That's a trainer. The trainer clearly saw it. Terry didn't want to be there, and he instructed his kid, go out and put it on her. Good performance from Sandy Ryan. I think she's got a future. I think for a girl to fight like that, go and force a stoppage and get a stoppage, it's still quite unique in women's boxing. I liked it.
Yeah, Matty, Michael Thompson there saying Sandy has that meanness, at least. That's what I like about her. That's the problem in women's boxing, apart from obviously the girls coming over from Africa in the PE shorts, but is the lack of stoppages, but Ryan's going out to punch through people.
One, I think the word you said that's really correct there, Steve, is mean. And, Des, I know like the story thing, it gets a little tiring in boxing, but Ann Wolfe had a real reason behind her mean, and she is probably the biggest puncher in the history of women's boxing that we've had to this point in time. So that's the question: is do these women have a reason to be mean a lot of the time? So I don't know. But Sandy Ryan sure the fuck got mean in there, and we'll see. Like I said, I imagine she'll see the winner of Price against McCaskill in one way or another. They'll make that happen. So yeah, but there was some other stuff on this week that I did not catch. Let's see here. Andy, why don't you tell us about some fascinating events which unfolded in Italy on Friday?
Sorry, I was on mute there, mate. Yeah, it was quite wild, actually. I was just showing you guys the link just before we got started. And Magnesia, I think he's pronounced, Steve. I think
Yeah,
I've got
yeah,
that
that's right. Magnesia.
he's well ahead on the scorecards here in Italy. I think it was I think it was Friday night. I think it was once 107, 102, and 106, 103 times 2 against a Japanese guy called Masanori Rikishi. And as I say, it was one of those type of fights, whereas the Japanese guys having to pull it out of the bag. He's Des is talking about that. You need your trainer to basically like lay the heat on your ass. You got to go out there, you got to do the business, and that's exactly what the Japanese boy did. He's went out there, dropped the guy twice, just for starters. The third time he goes down, Magnisi, he actually gets up and he literally just falls across the ring backwards into the ropes, and you're saying to yourself, well, the referee's going to stop the fight here, surely. No, the referee doesn't. He checks him out, he wants him to go ahead, pushes him back into action, whereas he's just there, lambs to the slaughter, finally gets absolutely brutalised, and then finally gets a stoppage. So anybody want to see that fight, actually, apparently it was, somebody was saying it's fight of the year contender. I only caught the last round. I've downloaded the fight, but it was quite a wild ending. That referee was a bit of a danger, so I want to watch actually for that one. So if he pops up, what's his name again? My second tier, Hector Afu.
Yeah,
I think was he Dominican or Panamanian?
He
or
was
something
in
like
some
that.
fight a few months ago where he really pissed me off.
Tyson Fury's fight, apparently. I'm trying to remember. He was in a Fury fight.
Yeah, that
Tommy Fury against Jake Paul. He was the
Fury
referee
fight.
in that everyone was slagging him. Yeah,
That's the one. Aye. That's the one. So just to keep an eye out on him, man. If anybody had seen that fight, it's worth a watch. As it says, it's one of those type of fights, and that where it's where you love the sport, whereas like as Steve says that as well, as the referee has probably tried to get homeboy across the finishing line, because I think it was what, Steve, 25 seconds to go.
26 seconds. He eventually called it off. They're absolutely rife for this in Italy, Andy.
Yep.
You'll know that yourself. Remember the old Steve Holdsworth Eurosport days?
Yeah,
they were practically picking Italians up off the floor, man, to try and get them to continue.
117, 115 type scorecards.
The end almost sounds like it was part of some alternate reality where we decided to be total dicks at the end of World War II and had death matches between the Axis forces.
I'm sure he was probably thinking about that when he was trying not to stop Michael Magnesi.
Yeah, Japanese against the Italians. But they know the Axis forces back in the day, Matty.
My family got out
they're
of there
supposed to be friends, aren't they?
No, they were supposed to be friends back in the late unpleasantness. But no, apparently, as I say, it's probably worth one for any kind of sitting bored one night. It was apparently a really good fight. As I say, it's the type of fight that you want. One guy behind on the cards, away from home, and he just turns it out with seconds to go. That was a silver WBC title of some sort, so I dare say it'll be high ranking now. Actually, that Magnesia, I'm sure, was. I think he's rebuilding from a defeat of some sort. Kakachi, that's who it was. Anti-Kakachi beat him on points.
Yeah.
Well, so I looked at that at Rikishi's record when I was making my picks for the Boxing Nutters Prediction League, Steve. I don't know what way you went on the fight. And what was interesting to me about Rikishi is that he's only fought one fighter in his career with a losing record, and that was after his only career defeat, which was very early on. So although he doesn't have like a stellar record, he's been match tough.
I went for Magnesi on points, and I was so close. I just thought it with home advantage and all that he would just get over the line, even though Rikishi can punch.
Hector Afu was pulling for you, Steve.
Yeah,
he tried to get it there, damn, that sucks because you were right up there near the top. That would have been a good W for you there.
I know I was going to roll Holly over this weekend, but now I'm back down in 4th or 5th place.
Now somebody was ahead of Holly. Who was it? Dave?
Dave, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumped in while I was napping.
Dave is here, man. For the Cheech and Chong's fans out there. Anyhow, let's see here. There was also a BT card, I hear, on Friday as well. Steve, why don't you take us through all of that incredible domestic action?
Yes, I will try to. As I said before, I did watch the whole card, but trying to remember it is a different matter. In the main event,
I know it's like Pro Box from Wednesday. You're like,
yeah, exactly. Well, even more so,
man.
Even more so because they show the whole card as well. Yeah, but formerly BT, now TNT. This was Frank Warren on Friday night. A lot of the undercard stuff, I'll get to that shortly. Pretty standard fare, but in the main event, Chris Burke, we've seen him before. He's a good fighter, actually. I like him sort of domestic level, but he is struggling now. He lost to Mark Leach before, got fiddled about a little bit for the British title. And then he went in against Ash Lane. I have a lot of time for Ash Lane. He's from Bristol. He came in at 17, 10 and 2. So 17 wins, 10 losses, 2 draws. He's really turned his career around. It reminds me a little bit of, I'm sure guys will remember a fighter from Stoke back in the day called Chris Edwards. I think he passed away a few years ago. He ended up with a record.
Flyweight,
Yep, in 2012, he ended up with a record of 17, 15 and 4. And he sort of turned his career around towards the end. Fought Shinny Bayar, beat him, beat Paul Edwards. He had a bit of a British title run. Even though he had a lot of losses on his record. And Ashley Lane could be going into that kind of territory. He used to post on the BoxRec forums, so kind of got to know him. And he's a good, honest pro. After his first 10 fights, I think he was like 3, 4 and 3. 3 wins, 4 losses, 3 draws. So from that to Friday night, which is where the story obviously has culminated, and he came, I wouldn't say he came from behind. Like, I was watching it on speed. Burke was doing well early on in the fight, and Ashley came back, hurt him, and just did not let him off the hook. Just threw bomb after bomb and ended up stopping him, winning the British title and the Commonwealth title. So that's a real Cinderella man story, very much a Chris Edwards story for Ashley Lane. So fair play to him. Who else was on? Willie Hutchinson. Again, similar Hutchinson fare. Went in against this German guy, Martin Huben. Dominated behind the jab in the most part. Got him hurt. Finished him. We know Hutchinson can punch against anyone of a decent level. What's he going to show? The last time he stepped up against Leonard Clark, he got beat. Apart from that, everybody who's got him put in front of him, he's managed to destroy them. Same as Moses Itoma. He was on before the main event, fought this guy Dan Garber. I think he's a kind of a journeyman from Bradford. Just banged him out in a round, completely uncompetitive. Royston Barney Smith, like the look of him every time I see him. Really well-schooled southpaw, throws the shots really tight. Got rid of this guy Perez in the 4th round. Luke McCormick made his debut. Looked like he was going to be in for a tough night against Robin Zamora, and then he caught him. I think it was a body shot in the 2nd round. Got rid of him. Sean Noakes won as well. He's Sam Noakes' brother. Sonny Liston Ali, no pressure on that name. Got a 2nd round knockout as well over Peter Alexandrov. And then there was another fella, Iman Zatmakesh. I don't think I actually saw him. It was okay, Matty. A lot of overmatched opponents, a lot of knockouts, but the story of the night was definitely Ashley Lane winning the British and Commonwealth title against Bork in the main event.
There are some cool stories like that. I don't know if you guys remember this name from God, about 15, 16, 17 years ago, but Gilberto Keb Bass was a 500 fighter. He was like 27 and 27 or some shit like that, who won, I think it was a 105 or a 108 pound title. It was stunning. And he actually got a couple defenses out of it too. I mean, it's some of these guys, they just keep chugging along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember him. He was still fighting up until about 10 years ago, that guy.
Probably. I bet he was about 40. Des, were you looking to say something, sir?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to ask everybody what they think about this, the development of someone like Moses Itomu, who's clearly talented, but he didn't do the amateurs, say, like we've seen over the last 20 years. So, the Audleys, the David Prices, even the Tyson Furies. Then there was AJ, and then we had Joyce, and then we had Fraser. These guys were on Team GB for 3, 4, 5 years, an Olympic cycle, and they went to a Worlds or a Europeans or a Commonwealths or an Olympics, and in some cases 2 or 3 of those events. Moses has gone down the Daniel Dubois route, and before that the Frank Bruno route. So he's turned over very young, and he thought he'd cash in. Do you think it does Moses any favours? And Frank's keeping him active. Do you think it does Moses any favours, all of his fights being on TV? I tell you what I mean by that. I think it comes with a pressure, and I think it can become a little bit of a drag, and we can sometimes lose our patience. So I've heard a lot of people say after Friday nights that Moses has got to step it up now. He can't have too many more of these. But I think he needs a lot more of these. I think Moses needs to have 11 fights a year, but only 5 of them being on TV. And the other 4, the other 5, however many he gets out, they can be off TV. They can be around Europe. They can even be in America. But he's just got to turn up and get his money out of an opponent. And I think that's where we're
as well, mate. As well, I mean, what's the
rush?
He's a baby.
He's a baby. But I'm hearing people that was there Friday, and it literally verbatim. he needs to step up now. But I don't think he does. What's he had, like 8 fights?
He can't even fight for the British at this point, can he?
Correct, Andy. And I think we should be taking Moses into sort of 18, 19, 20 fight territory. But when you've got network bosses to keep happy and you've got 350 of your mates in the arena, there's a pressure that comes with looking good and getting rid of people early. And I don't think that's how you develop a young kid, especially at heavyweight. So my question is, I'd like to see Moses. Frank's keeping him busy. He's very active. I'd like to see Moses have half of them fights off TV, where he can go into the 8, 9, 10th round territory at a steady pace, and he can really learn about what it's like to be a professional boxer. He can improve his ring generalship, and he can really get his money out of his opponents. What do you guys think?
I think. Go on, Andy.
Not just wondering if Frank would even think about, like, you talk about, like, say, untelevised shows, like a VIP promotion show, for example. Put him on there.
Why not?
Exactly. But
even one of those shows that ends up on YouTube with a single camera.
Yeah, it was that as well. But the BT shows are shown in its absolute entirety. From start to finish. I mean, that started at, was it 6 p.m. Steve, 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah, it was
midnight?
very early. This is the thing, Andy. I think that the culture has changed, and they're going to have to find a way. I'm not sure that the answer is the non-televised shows, because these days everything's televised, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think Des hit up on the point as well, Andy, just quickly about trying to please network bosses. That'll be part of the package, won't it? Oh, I've got this kid, he can punch, he's 18 years of age. Oh, yeah, he sounds brilliant, Frank. Yeah, we'll get him on right before the main event. He'll bang somebody out. He'll be the next Anthony Joshua, this guy, the next Dubois. They'll all be following him.
And that's the conversation, Steve. That's the conversation.
What I mean?
That's exactly what happens, yeah. But sorry, and I want to hear what you got to say, Andy, just to come in there, Steve. That's exactly how the conversation goes. They sit around a table and they say, we want to see you look explosive and dynamic. We want you to be the new AJ. But that doesn't help Moses. And you never get this window is closing, and you'll never get it back. And you want to get to the point where he's only, like Andy said, he's a baby. You want to get to the point where he's 21, he's had 25 fights in 2.5 years, and he can say, I've turned fights around. I've been in the smallest changing room. We've been in some right cesspits. I've been in some strange countries. I've fought guys that I could hit them all night and they're not going to go anywhere. I've fought the boxer, the southpaw. I've had guys get off the floor and come back at me. And I sometimes think there's a pressure when you've got 300 or 400 people in the arena that have all come to watch you, that you've got to put on a show for them as well as the network bosses. And I just think, could you imagine if Frank or whoever is his manager, but say Frank, who's his promoter, right, Moses, we're going to get you out 11 times this year. This one's on telly, but the next 2, I've got you pinned in, one in Sheffield, the other one's in, I don't know, Rotterdam. Then we'll get you back over here in 3 months' time. You'll be back out again on telly. I think that would take so much pressure off of a young heavyweight. And I'm saying this because he is ever so young.
Yeah. I think as well, Andy, just as you come in, before I forget this, rather than not off telly or off TV bouts, even pushing him down the pecking order or putting him 3rd or 4th into like one of these Box Nation shows or YouTube cards, I think that he has to be televised because of the nature of the beast these days, but maybe not televised as prominently. Sorry, Andy.
Does say you could also get him out as so if he's going to go through his type of opponents, you could get him out every other couple of weeks, really. Theoretically, barring injury or cuts and anything like that, he could be so much more active than what he is. And if you really want him off and learning, then he's got to go on the road. He's got to go and spar with all the top guys. He's got to go to America. He's got to go to Cuba. He's got to go to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Because really, if he stayed amateur for a wee bit longer, he might have a run at this Olympics. Maybe have a run at the next Worlds or the Europeans, for example. Building up that experience. He's only just turned 19. Still got a bit of grunt in doing that. But for a kid, 19, 240 pounds, it's a monster. But he's still got to kind of do that thickening up and growing out and just really kind of refining himself a little bit in that as well. Get the experience. So maybe go on the road, do the heavy sparring, for example, because really, we talk about, next week, Richard Torres is back in action next week, and he's going through the kind of similar kind of thing. Maybe he's not the same age, actually, but he's going through the similar scenario. He is punching up on these guys who are just not on his level. And you're new at the issue with him now as well. It's time for a step up with him. But he's slightly older. He's competed at the Olympics. He's competed against the top guys at that level. Whereas Itamu hasn't, and he still needs to be getting that seasoning. So the cries to push him forward is, for me, it's pump the brakes. It's going to be pump the brakes. Look at happened to his brother. You know, he's a light heavyweight, I know, but look what happened to him. He got called against a journeyman or some sort, if I can recall
It was
properly.
an Argentine, wasn't it?
Yeah, he
Bruce?
wasn't
Something
just
like
caught cold; he was getting his ass kicked. From
He's
toe
like
to post
2 or
of that
3
fight.
rounds and stuff like that. If he turns up one night, so seasoning, that is the thing. And like his brother, he maybe needs something like that, getting dropped or hurt heavy to get back up off the floor and just to get himself back on the road. But I just don't see how you can push him up in terms of class at this point, because in terms of options, I know for a fact he can't fight for the British. Does that mean he can't fight for area level titles? I think so, but I don't know. But at this point, it's still learning at this point.
And
Or how about this, Des? How about this? You know how we've seen some of the top amateurs, top pros at heavyweight still turning amateur, like Jalalov. Would Uncle Frank allow him to go back to the unpaid ranks for certain tournaments? I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure.
wouldn't
I mean,
think so.
that would be groundbreaking, wouldn't it? They seem to be separate codes. But I mean, the reason I'm sort of honing in on Moses and this discussion is because, for me, I always look back to the job that the McGuigans did with Frampton and what Mick did with Fury, and it's because Josh Taylor was another one, and they got so many rounds out of their opponents in the early stages of their career. And I remember Frank Bruno knocking everybody over, sort of 25 fights in 2.5 years, won a European title against Anders Eklund, caught James Bone Crusher Smith, and he didn't know what to do. And although I'm not knocking Daniel Dubois' come up, he kind of didn't know what to do against Joe Joyce. And I know he was, maybe I'm out of order for saying that because he was legitimately hurt and injured. But I want to see when a heavyweight gets there, a young heavyweight, I want it to be like Tyson Fury. And let's be clear, when Tyson Fury went out to Germany to fight a decade-long champion and a very good champion, he'd boxed in 3 continents. He'd boxed against Hall of Fame fighters with Hall of Fame trainers. He'd boxed Southpaws. He'd boxed Irish fighters for the Irish title. He'd boxed English fighters for unbeaten British fighters for the British title. He'd boxed on other promoters' shows. And Mick done a brilliant job making Tyson the most complete fighter he could possibly be before going into the big one. And I think while we've got such a young kid who's 19, I just think and he's clearly got something, he's a talent, but how can we get him to be the best version of himself after 22 fights?
It's all about development and different paths for different folks. And I don't know, we'll see. The path for his brother sure didn't work out very well. But anyhow, is there anything else that you guys saw this week? What the heck else might have occurred? Oh, please.
Go ahead, Des.
Well, to go back to the Sheffield show last night, wasn't it, with Smith and Zepeda? Why don't we throw it out and have a conversation about this? Now, we're all talking about Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. I'll ask you direct, all of you. What did you make of Eddie Hearn's performance in the ring afterwards? And when he said Adam Azim couldn't lace Dalton Smith's boots and that we're prepared to go a few levels down to fight him, and basically say that Adam Azim's not of this level. Do you think Eddie has a problem now to talk to people? Do you think, I mean, this is a guy that's never done put a fight together 1v2 in any division. And do you think Eddie struggles to talk to people that don't need him? And I think it's clear that Adam Azim and the people around Adam Azim don't quite need Dalton Smith and don't quite need Eddie at the moment. Do you think his language and the way he spoke about a fighter last night was inappropriate? And if anyone's going to call someone out, don't you think it should be the fighter, not the promoter?
Ordinarily, yes. In some cases, though, obviously, they maybe need the promoter to do the talking for them. I'm not saying that's the case. That was necessarily this case. I felt watching it, and I haven't looked at any analysis since or what people are saying, Des, but I felt like Eddie was sort of getting away with himself. He was like getting carried away. You know, the crowd was starting to whip themselves up. Everyone was like getting involved. The camera was there. He hasn't been that bullish in a while, Eddie. He's been a bit more reserved lately, and this was, I saw a change, and it was like the original Eddie. Remember when he first come on the scene? I saw that back last night. He had the microphone in his hand. He was talking directly to the camera, calling them out, and he was sort of going a bit further, like you said, tiptoeing a bit further along. And he was like sort of pumping himself up a bit. Yeah, I think the situation just seemed to get away from him, and there was a bit of frustration maybe coming out there, Des, I think.
What do you think? Yeah, I don't quite know what they'd done last night, but it looked like a lot of empty seats. Do you think Eddie was a little bit? Do you think a little bit of anxiety? Do you think he got a little bit excited? But going back to something, let's look at Adam. Imagine you're Barry McGuigan and Shane McGuigan, and you've got Adam Azim as your charge. What's Adam Azim? 22 years old. He's the European champion. He's the poster boy for Sky Boxing, which is the largest sports broadcaster in this country. You've got to safely assume that Adam Azim's on anywhere between 40 and 60 grand. Let's cut it straight at 50 grand a fight. And you've got to say that Adam Azim's getting out 4 or 5 times a year. So from their perspective, well, we've got a 22-year-old kid getting out 4 or 5 times a year, earning anywhere between 200 and 250 grand a year. He's the European champion. We don't need to be pushed into a corner. And that type of language certainly ain't going to help a fight between them. In fact, whatever happened to a promoter saying, I'm going to give Boxer a call in a week and hopefully we can sit down and try and negotiate a fight. Where did all this vulgar, crass, second-hand card dealer type sales or pushing for a sale come from? I don't think it was a good look. I don't think you're going to make any friends doing that. I don't think he's ever made any friends talking like that to people. And I just think Eddie struggles to talk to people that don't need him. I think if you need Matchroom, if you need the fight, I think it's perfect. It's a good match. But if you've got your own pathway, if you're quite independent and secure, I think Eddie really struggles dealing with those people.
Yeah. Well, he's always been like that, hasn't he? People who don't need... He feels like, especially in British boxing, everybody needs him. And anyone who's sort of turned their back on him and says, oh, I don't need you, he's been almost offended, Matty, I think. Aim said there who is really shouting out for Smith versus Azim. I think, yeah, they're trying to push him into a corner, aren't they? To maybe create interest in a fight. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the fight, to be honest with you. But yeah, I thought this was the energy of 2012 Eddie I saw in the ring there.
I didn't even pay attention to that. Fuck it.
Misfits boxing, that's what's happening, Matty. It's turning us all into vulgar idiots.
Yeah, I think it's just a social media age. Everybody thinks like you're doing your job promoting a fight by getting clicks, not realizing that people might just be laughing at you for being a pretentious douchebag.
MB says Azim is a champion holding a belt hostage and refusing to fulfill his mandatories. Can't blame her.
But has Eddie ever made? I've just thrown it out there, but I can't recall it. Has Eddie ever made a 1v2 in any division?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, we've seen a lot of fights get made once he's out of the picture, haven't we? We've seen sort of, just off the top of my head, Marshall and Shields got made when he was out of the picture, and we've seen Wardley and Clark get made. Does he still have something to do with Wardley? I'm not sure. We saw Brook and Khan get made when he was out of the picture. I still remember the disgraceful language he used and the way he spoke about Shelley Finkel. I still remember how he's rubbed everyone up the wrong way. I just think there are so many people in boxing, power brokers in boxing. You don't quite know what they do. You never quite hear them, but they're the guys that put deals together. And the art of negotiation isn't to offend everybody. It's not taking everything off everyone's plate. The art of negotiation is sitting around the table with people and everybody's happy. And knowing the McGuigans, and I know, Steve, you've personally dealt with the McGuigans. Knowing the McGuigans, knowing how strong and independent Adam Azim is right now in his position, why would you want to push people like that into a corner and offend them? It just isn't. It doesn't seem the right play to me. That's all.
But let me actually throw this out to you, Des. I think I'm actually going to blame a lot of everything that we face today on the sanctioning bodies, because look at it this way. The sanctioning bodies are so awful when it comes to enforcing their own rules and enforcing mandatories when the mandatory is with someone who is promoted by someone who isn't the promoter, the guy who holds the belt. It just becomes pointless to match your guys with anybody else from a different promoter at that point in time, because you just get to have that belt challenged by people within your own stable, and you get to hold that belt and just and pass it around if necessary, or one guy holds it for so long until maybe you decide to do a unification or something like that. But it's just that the promoters can do so much to keep a belt within their promotional stable that, well, screw it. We have our selling ticket. This is for the WBC championship of the world, and every fight that we have in this division is going to be for the WBC championship of the world.
I mean, I absolutely take your point, Martin. Look, we all want to see the best fighters, and I'd like to see Smith and Azim, but I don't think that's how you make big fights. And when you've got a clearly talented kid like Adam Azim, and let's be clear, this is a British kid of Indian heritage, right? He potentially hits 1 billion homes if they get it right with him. Potentially. This guy is a European champion. He's 22 years old and he's earning really good money. You're not going to insult him into a fight. Just do things properly. And if someone's going to call someone out, let it be the fighter. That's how it always was. And to have a promoter almost vicariously living through your fighter, almost playing to the crowd, signing off with a Bosch, for me, it's not a good look.
Nobody
Bosch,
should
never a
ever
good look.
sign up with a Bosch.
I know, I didn't like the Bosch ending.
Joining us on the call, Rob Kelly. Rob, why don't you take us through what you saw this weekend before we can move forward into the exciting week of boxing which lies before us?
That's cool, Matty. I'll keep it short and sweet for you. I didn't see none of that shit. And thankfully, by the sounds of it, doesn't sound like I fucking missed out on too much.
You got better things to do on a Saturday night?
To watch Dalton Smith.
Oh, news to me.
No shots for the Dalton Smith and Cindy Ryan and the gang. And fucking Terry Harper and all them. I'm sure it was a great watch. But not for me. No, I thought the overall card was dog shit, and I wasn't going to give it any time, so I just was happy enough to catch up with the results.
You could have watched Campbell Hatton be beaten. That could have been the highlight of your week.
Yeah, what did he lose in an area title? Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the level, isn't it? Like, he's not good enough to win an area title yet. They're kind of fucking pinning hopes on him being a future pay-per-view star, trading off his dad's name. It's kind of fucking sad for Campbell Hatton, because the kid's not that good and he's not going to be that good. I'm not saying he won't get better. I'm not saying he hasn't improved since he turned over, but he's never been impressive on the eye. The only reason anybody fucking watches him because his second name is Hatton. And if I was him, I'd go down the fucking Love Island route. Fuck it. Go do Tommy Fury on it, man. Get yourself into Love Island and get a different career, like, because this is not it.
The boys were saying that in the chat, Rob, earlier. He should go on become a YouTube boxer. He might make more money.
They have so many different shows.
Get himself on a fucking TV show. Do shit that you don't need to fight anyway, dude. Do you know what I mean? Fucking the guy was saying it right, like you had a silver spoon in your mouth. It's different levels. You know what I mean? I don't think, like, if he's been a pro for how long now? 3 years, and he can't win an area title.
You know, speaking of the shows like that, Rob, did you know they have a show over here called Fuckboy Island?
No, it doesn't sound like something I'd fucking tune in for, Matty, to be honest with you. I watch a lot of shit, like, but
is that for the
I've never seen it either. I see the advertisement, like, and obviously, it's blurred or bleeped or whatever out. I'm like, we've sunk this low. Fuckboy Island. That's where we're at.
What is it about? Fucking some place off Thailand, is it?
I think it's like kind of like The Bachelorette, except like everybody is a hoe bag on the island.
All right, fair enough. All right, cool. Well, let me know how it works out.
They probably had a more interesting weekend than boxing fans, I guess.
Yeah, we wish them well. on the fuckboy island.
Great bunch of lads.
A great bunch of lads. The fuckboys. No, I didn't see that one yet, dude. I'll keep an eye out for it. I watch a lot of fucking trash TV. I remember fucking someone someone used to be on the comments years ago every week, man. He was giving it to me, fucking, oh, Kelly this, and he lives down a fucking back lane, and la la la. And I looked at his page, right? He was watching all 90 Day Fiance, and then I was trying to make fun of him for watching it, right? But then I ended up watching it, and I really like it.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Well,
I like that in the show about the fatties that Ozzy likes. You know, the doctor gets the fucking 600-pound people in the room.
Oh, my kids watch that.
They start saying, "Oh, look, it's not my fault. It's fucking my thyroid."
Oh man, there you go. I fucking told you.
Matty.
Yes.
Matty, I'm not sure if Adam is him. I might be incorrect. He doesn't come from an Indian heritage. He might be Pakistani. But the point is, he hits a different demographic. And I think that's a marketable asset, don't you? That's the point I was making.
Always. And I mean, with the ability of people to watch sports on so many platforms from all these different countries, I mean, they're going to be tapping into all sorts of these markets. I mean, there have been random DAZN boxing shows from India. I haven't watched any of them because nothing, the competition didn't look intriguing enough for me, but they're obviously just,
you have a fucking bet on it all the same.
No, I didn't. I generally, when I choose to bet on a fight, they have to have two names. I'm opposed to the mononym fighters, Rob.
Is it ever going to crack though, these markets? Because we hear China and Pakistan, and there's billions of people in these countries. Are they ever going to become boxing nations?
That's a good question, Steve. Yeah, it's a good question. We've been waiting for so long, haven't we? And we've had Commonwealth Games gold medalists sort of relocate to London and places, and I know Frank, I can't remember the kid's name now, but we had one over in East London. It was a Commonwealth Games champion, represented India, and he just couldn't adapt to the lifestyle over here, and it didn't work out. And who was the middleweight? I liked him.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to think of his name. I saw him fight in Dublin on one of the old MGM shows.
Good fighter.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
No, I can't. But the one I can, the fighter I can remember was it Harry Darmy?
Yeah, Harry Darmy. Hyder Ali as well. Do you remember him? He was
Hyder Ali was a kid from Leighton there.
Yeah,
he lived in Leighton for a bit. But yeah, it's never quite worked out. And I think with Adam being a British kid, I think it's Pakistani or Indian heritage. In fact, I do apologise. I don't quite know if he's an Indian heritage or it's Pakistani heritage. But it's a demographic that boxing could tap into, and that's the point I was making. I don't think Adam Azim can ever be put into a corner and forced to do something he doesn't want to do. And if you're gonna persuade Adam and Adam's family and the McGuigans to do something, you're not going to do it by insulting them. That was the point.
I would imagine.
Vijender Singh.
Vijender Singh, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he was handy enough when I seen him there, to be honest.
Yeah, they just really need someone who's good enough to be a global superstar, I think, to kind of
could be Goyat Mate, who fought ZEPEDA, man. I think he's on the verge. Remember him with the little belly?
I don't know what he's on the verge of, but he's on the verge of something. Anyhow, we're on the verge of an hour and a half for covering really one fight card. So we're going to move over to what's ahead of us this week. I'm going to start with, obviously, one of my favorite parts of the week, Wednesday with Pro Box. The top four fights on this card, I imagine, are the ones that are going to be aired. Looks like a fun card. Start bottom up. 9-1 David Navarro taking on 8-0 Justin Goodson. Omar Juarez 14-2. Seen him a few times against the always dangerous Clarence Booth. Jesus Saracho, he's a very good fighter. I enjoyed seeing him in a couple times I've seen him out, going against Starling Castillo, who was bitten by that asshole we saw last week, Steve. And then the main event is going to be Joseph Adorno, who's in a really rough stretch right now, taking on Nicholas Walters, who's trying to make a comeback at lightweight. I think this is a very fun card, Steve. Looking forward to another fantastic offering from Pro Box this week.
Yeah, great card this is. I always forget about it and then watch it on like a Friday afternoon when I finally remember about it. But yeah, Juarez, Booth, decent fight. Castillo, as you said, got the win over Suero. Got bit in the process. He's fighting a guy, Sriracha, never heard of him. And the main event, Adorno's a good boxer, actually. Doesn't let his hands go enough, but he can punch. Blessed hands, he's called. Only 24. Can't believe that. He's had 23 bouts, was a good amateur as well. Fought Edwin De Los Santos. He took a bit of a beating in that one. Elvis Rodriguez took him to a majority. You'd have to think he's going to be too active for Walters. Walters back in the day was a good fighter, but he's been out for that long. Although I suppose he has a couple of low-key fights in Venezuela against no marks in 2023. But before that, it was Lomachenko and then a 7-year gap. So he might tire down the stretch, but then Adorno doesn't let his hands go. So yeah, it's interesting.
You'd
What
like to
weight
think
is it,
you
Steve?
will. What's that?
What weight is it, Nicholas Walters?
135.
Oh, is it right?
Okay. Cheers, man.
Yeah, I'd like to think that Adorno should understand he's the bigger man in there, and hopefully he does let his hands go.
Walters was a big enough unit, wasn't he, back in the day? And I suppose lightweight's not too
He was
bad
a
for
big freaking featherweight, that's for sure. At
Yeah.
lightweight, I don't know, but he was a big freaking featherweight.
Yeah, but I like these Pro Box cards.
Yeah. So yep, looking forward to that one. Always free, as folks know, on their YouTube channel and the other various outlets they have. Then going over to Thursday night over here, gonna have a card from Dmitry Salita on DAZN from Michigan. Gonna have Vladimir Shishkin taking on 12-7-1 Mike Guy. Come on, step it up, Vlad. We're going to have Ergashev in his return bout from getting his ass beat by Matias, taking on Juan Huertas, 17-4-1. Juan Carrillo, I've seen him, I believe. He's a decent enough fighter against Quentin Rankin, who is actually a decent enough fighter despite his record, 21-2.
Carrillo, Matty, if I remember correctly, fought on one of the show box cards. He's in his 30s. He's overweight, but he can punch. He's a skilled fighter.
Yeah, I think I do remember that. God, I miss Showbox, but here we are, going to have Dmitry Salita with this one on Thursday night for anyone who wants to check that out. Let's see here. Do I want to do that one first? Let's see here. I think I'm actually going to not go in chronological order, and we're going to skip over to something on Saturday before going back to Friday to back to Saturday. This card also is going to be on DAZN. Going to be, let's see, where do we want to start at what's worth talking about? Yeah, we'll go starting down here. Alexis Rocha taking on Frederick Lawson back at welterweight, which is a better weight for Lawson. Still expect Rocha to look good coming off of his most recent defeat after having a good string of wins. Gonna have Kareem Hackett, Steve, taking on Rowdy Legend Montgomery, who I think I've seen, and despite a 10-5-1, I think he actually gives good work to guys.
Yeah,
if I happen to remember.
He's decent. Yeah, he's decent.
Yep. Santiago Dominguez, 26-0, taking on Jose Luis Sanchez, 14-3-1. Haven't really checked either of those guys out. The main event, WBA World Cruiser title on the line. Arsan Gulamirian taking on Gilberto Ramirez. Gulamirian trained by Abel Sanchez, going again against Zerto, which, as we all know, means lefty. So I don't know about this one, Dez. I kind of think that even though he's the strong betting favorite, I kind of think a win over Joe Smith Jr., who is also a natural light heavyweight, might have fooled him into thinking what kind of shot he can take against a full-fledged cruiserweight. What do you think, Dez?
He's not watching Gulamirian on a Friday night, Matty.
Are you watching Gulamirian on a Friday night, Steve?
Yes, I will be, because I'm a sad bastard with no life. I tell you what, I have the most interesting thing about Gulamirian is sort of inactivity and that. If you look down his record, right, he won this WBA cruiserweight title in 2018, defended it in 2018. That's fine. Couple of defenses. Well, he didn't fight then for another year until 2019. Defended it against Kane Watts. Then he was back in the ring less than a month later, defending it against Bejanaru. Then he was out the ring for 3 years. No fuss with the WBA or anything. They didn't tell him, you got to defend this. I know COVID was going on, all that. 3 years out the ring. And that was against Igorov in 2022. And now here he is, some 16, 17 months later, defending the WBA fight title again. So there's absolutely no rush from Gulamarian. There's absolutely no rush from the WBA either to enforce him to make any kind of defenses against anyone. I can't believe Ramirez fought for so long at super middleweight. I mean, he just looks like a natural big guy, big cruiser, balloons up. It's about time Gulamarian stepped up against someone decent. He's had this crazy long reign, as I just mentioned there. Was it four fights for the world titles in 6 years or something it is now? The winner has a mandatory as well, Matty, to take care of. Uniel Dortico. Everyone had forgotten about him. He signed with Warriors Boxing, and apparently he needs to fight the winner.
At least he's given Charlo something to aspire to.
Exactly. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. Anyway, both guys, Ramirez and Gulamarian, big, strong units. I think it's going to be a physical battle. Gulamarian weighed as heavy as 210 pounds in the past early in his career, so he's not going to be easy to shift. As I mentioned, Zerdo's a big guy, but he was making super middle and then light heavyweight at one point. So I think it's going to be, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be physical. You would have to favour Zerdo on level of opposition, but Gulamarian, if he can manage to get the win, you never know. He could fight Dortico in 3 years' time in his next defense, and then we'll all move on with life.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll be like 42 years old, and who knows what my hobbies might be then. I know my girlfriend got me a smoker for my birthday, so they say that every man in his 40s either takes up World War II history or smoking meats. So I guess I'm going to be the smoked meat guy in my 40s. So anyhow, Dez, did you get your stuff? What's that, Rob?
Predictable ending.
Yeah, I just figured you knew something about smoking meats and you had to jump in there. So, Dez.
Ruin the joke. Right, come on.
No, my I think my mic was. I never turned my mute off, Matty.
You're fine, man.
I wasn't ignoring you, mate. I do apologise. No, I think Gulamarian. I think he'd be too strong and a little bit too big, and I've got a soft spot for Gulamarian because he spent a bit of time in London as well. So I'm going to go for Gulamarian on that one.
Interesting. Yeah, and like I said, he is an underdog on that one. Andy, do you have anything you want to get in on this fight?
Nothing much really, mate. I've seen Gulamarian a handful of times. If he turns up, boxes pretty well, we can do it. I would imagine he could win on points. Ramirez, we've said it before, and that we're not really kind of interested in that career. It's just one of those situations where you're hoping the guy, like Gulamarian, for example, takes his opportunity and he moves on to something different, because I just don't fancy seeing Ramirez winning a meaningful title at cruiserweight and leave himself in the mix for say a Billum Smith, unification, or Badu Jack, for example. I don't know, but.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. His last time he was supposed to fight at light heavyweight, didn't the fight get called off because he was like 7 or 8 pounds overweight?
Who, Ramirez?
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Gabe Rosado, wasn't he? Wasn't that the fight that got called off?
Yeah, we were laughing because
like,
why is Rosado fighting at
so,
175 and then he couldn't even make weight for it? That's right. That's exactly. So I kind of wonder if I was kind of throwing just, a little bit of an unknown in this one. I kind of wonder how hard Ramirez works in the ring or in the gym anymore. And
he does look soft for that weight, to be fair. I know he's a big dude or whatever, that, but when you see him with that extra weight on him, he doesn't seem. That's just my opinion. Just looking at him, just doesn't seem to carry it pretty well.
Yeah, it's I don't know if he's not training hard. I don't think you're going to be able to push over a big stout heavy cruiserweight. So that is a reasonably interesting card on Friday night. That will be brought to you by, or Saturday night. That'll be brought to you by DAZN. Now let's go back to Friday night. I am going to be here. I am going to be leaving work, running straight through, and then coming back here, hopefully get here by 12:30 to catch a 3:05 flight to Arizona so I can catch this card. I am looking forward to a few fights on here, but we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up to the excitement. What do we have happening on this card? Well, we got the return of Fernando Vargas, the son of Emiliano Vargas, looking for his 9th victory going in against Nelson Hampton, 10-8. Richard Torres Jr. taking on Donald Hainsworth, 19-8-1. They're really moving him along fast. Alon Garcia, who I'm really high on. I've spoken before. Saw him fight on the Terrence Crawford card in Nebraska that'll be a couple years back almost. He's going to be taking on the 12-3 Gonzalo Fuenzalida. Fuenzalida. There we go. Gonzalo Fuenzalida. I got it.
Fun time Fuenzalida.
I got it. And then Raymond Murataya taking on the 31-4 Solsani in Dunjani. Man, they're just loading me up here tonight, Steve.
You're going to be stoned to fuck watching this card, aren't you?
Christ. And then we're going to have 19-0 Lindolfo Delgado against the 25-2 Carlos Sanchez in a 140-pound fight. Your thoughts on the undercard, Mr. Wellings?
Well, nothing beyond what you've mentioned there. Torres is being moved at a glacial speed for whatever reason. We were talking earlier with Des about
glaciers are surely moving faster than Richard Torres' career at this point in time.
He is exciting, but yeah, how many more guys can you see him just banging out? Vargas is being moved quicker, one of Fernando's sons. Art Barrera, I feel like I've seen him before, but as I said before, they all mould into one on the undercard until they start becoming their own person. Same with Alan Garcia. I think he's the one who trained by his mom, actually. He fought recently, didn't he, Garcia? Yeah, against Ornelas on one of the recent Las Vegas undercards. Delgado's a good prospect. Carlos Sanchez, have I seen him before? Let me see. He lost to Steve Claggett, yes, on one of the Eye of the Tiger shows that we like. He also lost to
Did he go the distance
He
with Claggett?
went the distance with Claggett. He got knocked out by Pedro Campa as well, who got knocked out by Teofimo Lopez. And Don Janey, I think he fought... Didn't he fight Devin Haney at one point back in the day on Showtime? Yeah, he did, 2019. That was a while ago. He's in against Delgado. Delgado's a good prospect. Yeah, I'll watch the whole thing, as I said, Matty, because I'm a sado, but it's decent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot to like on this undercard. And for you, Rob Kelly, I think there's a lot to like in the weigh-in in the minimum weight world unification fight. All 4 belts on the line with Sinisa Estrada and Yokasta Valle. Rob, I assure you, not only is this fight going to be contested on a very high level, this is also one of the best looking fights in the history of boxing.
Yeah, I've seen both, and I watched the weigh-in kind of, but I don't think I watched the fight. You know that way. I'll take your word for it.
No, Rob, watch the fight this time.
No, I'm probably not going to do that, but I'll fucking watch the on Twitter when they show a couple of seconds of it, and you get the result. I'll do that. But what is the crack with your man Torres? Why are they moving him so slow? Because he is exciting. You think the Americans would be trying to fucking cry out for a heavyweight that could fucking make a few quid or get himself into a big fight.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm making a takeaway here.
No idea. No, I agree. I don't know. Fought Curtis Harper in his last fight, and they were talking about that as a step up. If Curtis Harper's your step up, I suppose if you can get him to fight is the main thing.
Costa Rica. Costa Valley.
Costa Lotta.
Anyhow,
you talking about Richard Torres?
Yeah, Torres.
I just pulled this guy's record up, actually. This guy's fighting 41 he is, if box strikes to be true. That's not always correct. That 41, Mr. JBT, his name is. In his last fight, he fought at the Triad Basketball Academy in Greensboro.
Against Anthony Trotter. Fucking Delboy.
Trotter! Oh, and he actually got beat off Dempsey McKean and Simon Keane.
And Trey Lippe.
And Guido Villanello in 1 round. Zili Zhang iced him in 3.
Tommy Morrison's son he lost to as well, Andy. Trey Lippe.
Brian Jennings has had a shot at him as well.
Yeah.
Shit's rough out there for a G.
Yeah.
Not great, is it?
So he's just getting passed about here, 41. It was just when we were talking about our man Moses, though, in the UK. I mean, I just want to check Torres' age, actually. Isn't he old? He is old. 24.
Like 23 or 24.
24. Yeah. He has, as I say, he has got the power. He seems to be working on foot movement. Could be susceptible to cuts. Not too sure about his defence, and I'm not too sure about his going to be if he gets hurt or dropped. Just need to wait and see. But 8-rounder,
doing all right.
Yeah, doing all right. 8-rounder, but again, maybe there's just no rush. I mean, again, there isn't any rush at this point. Heavyweights can season out. It could take a decade for them to season out, possibly.
Could be coming from him or his management. You never know, Andy. They could be, pulling the clappers on it. Top Rank are quite transparent when it comes to, if you piss them off or if you haven't put in a good performance. Next thing you're first on the card or second on the card, or we don't see you very quickly. So it'd be interesting.
Or you're fighting some fucking guy who's gonna end up taking your fucking head off.
Yeah, exactly. So
or Bob is there going, I don't care how good a fighter is, he doesn't do pay-per-views. He's gonna lose money.
But that the hair and the moustache, there's nobody else in boxing that can match it. To be fair, come on, you hands down the best hair and moustache in boxing just now. You've got to hand it to the boy.
Yeah,
he's like Dirk Diggler with a fucking right hand from fucking. Just take him out there. Like, what's the fucking problem? He seems like he has a personality.
Material, man. That's what that is.
Yep.
Wunderbar.
He might not end up winning all the fights, but he'll steal all of our girlfriends. That's for sure. Anyhow, back to Sinisa Estrada against Yokasta Valle.
Oh, right. I'll leave it to you, Matty. Right,
Des, help me out here. I need somebody.
Don't Des, pass him on it, mate.
On the quality of this fight. I'm wishing Mr. Joe Kennedy was with us today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to throw you under the bus, Messi, but I'm kind of with Rob on this one. I watched the weigh-in, but I might struggle with a fight on this one.
Do you think that's a misogynistic thing, Maddie? Right, but it's not. I just female boxing fucking gives me the creeps a little. I don't like seeing women beating each other up, man. I just can't get into it. Like I know you and Joe Kennedy or some sick deviant to like fucking recording your conversations about it, but
the high-end quality is just no there. Like there is good female fighters, but we need
this is that, Andy. This is that. This is one of those top levels.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, if any of you assholes will actually watch it, that's the question at hand here.
The winner needs to fight Esparza, isn't that, Matty? I heard somebody saying that.
No, I think the winner needs to fight Jessica Neri Plata, move up a weight division and take her on.
I thought that was a good take.
And that's a fair take. But I mean, she's up. I think she's at 112 pounds for some reason.
She fought Estrada before, didn't they? To a majority.
Estrada won. Yep.
Yeah.
And she's decent up. I think she's a little bit right hand happy. But there's very few fights where I thought Estrada. There's
I see. What was that?
You don't want to know.
There's very few fights where I see Sinisa Estrada being challenged in these weight classes. She did have a rough fight last time out, but I think she's kind of suffering from just a little bit of competition malaise. This one, she has definitely gotten up for. The people were calling for it, and I just this fight, Jessica Neri Plata, and I think that, maybe a rematch against Esparza, but I think she's going to have to test the waters at 115 if she doesn't get a fight from those gals, because she's a tremendous fighter. She's fighting from both sides. She throws great combinations. She's got a reasonable amount of punching power. I don't see
She's feisty on social media too, isn't she? She was shitting on Esparza before, saying that she sounded like she smoked 40 Marlboros.
I didn't see that.
Like Fury.
Great. Well, she is East LA, man. So she didn't grow. She grew up no bullshit in the gyms with the guys. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Yokasta Valle has not lost since. Let's go back here. She hasn't lost since. She lost to Tiny Tina Ruprecht in 2018.
Is she a knockout specialist?
No, she is not a knockout specialist, but she is a knockout.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Can she fight?
Yes, she can absolutely fight. This is going to be a good fight. Trust me. This is
going to be. You're turning me now. You're turning me onto it. Maybe that's that. Maybe
is this the one you got shafted off down in Puerto Rico? No.
No, that was the Amanda Serrano.
Oh, that was Serrano, right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this will be 10-2s instead of 12-3s like Serrano's been doing. But yeah,
this is asking the main question: where's the GOAT? Does she not fighting bare knuckle these days, or is it MMA?
She did an
She's
MMA,
coming up in Value of the Week, Sandy. So don't worry.
Yeah, she got caught in an armbar. She might be out for a while. But anyways, this fight is just an appetizer for the main event, which I think the boxing hardcores are all in for. Oscar Valdez taking on Liam Wilson. This one I expect to be a fantastic battle. Will the blood get to 9 rows back and splatter on me? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. Andy, I know that this is a fight that you're looking forward to. I tend to think that it's tough to gauge this fight because both of these guys have been in some wars, but Wilson, it's only 15 fights into his career. I think he's a very big super featherweight. He's going to be one of the largest opponents of Valdez's career, bar none. And I think this fight comes down to the battle of the left hooks. There's a reason I'm going to Arizona for it. I think this is a fantastic fight. Andy.
You become a Wilson fan after the Navarrete fight, didn't you?
Oh, Andy disappeared. Oh, what a hell of a fight. I mean, and you could say that he got robbed out of the victory on a long count on that one. There was fuckery with the skills, all sorts of stuff that weren't in his favor. Des, I definitely enjoyed the hell out of that guy in that fight. He won some serious fans.
And if it had been anyone but say a fighter in Navarrete's quality, I think Wilson would have got the job done that night. He put in a brilliant performance. It was a world-class performance from really a guy that we hadn't seen much of, and who was just coming out of the novice phase of his career. And it's, again, we talk about individual demographics in sport. It's unusual for an Australian kid to give a brilliant Mexican such a hard night, and he did just that. I'm a Wilson fan, and if I can preempt to your question you're going to ask me, with regards to Oscar Valdez, I think the Belchout fight was a long time ago, and I think he's had 24 rounds between Stevenson and Navarrete. I think Wilson might just be catching Oscar Valdez at the right time.
You might be right. And when Wilson left that fight, he's had 2 victories since then. Carlos Maria Alanis, I can't say I know much about him. He just wiped him clean. And then he also had a fight against Jackson John England, where he had a little bit of a close one. But Andy, that Jackson John England, that's another Australian fighter that was quality. I saw his fight. I think it was on a ZEPEDA undercard against Nathaniel May, and that was a good freaking battle and a half. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one, Andy? It's a very interesting fight. I'm very excited about this one. I mean, again, I'm going out of state, hopping a plane because I know this one is just going to be a banger.
Sorry, mate. I've just got back on the call. I'm just trying to kind of catch up. What fight you talking about? Liam Wilson against Valdez.
Yes.
I'm thinking Wilson will probably pull this off. Valdez, what is he now? 30, 33. I just think he's also another one who's got the miles on the clock, especially after the Stevenson fight, Navarrete especially. I think Wilson's probably slightly the fresher of the two, well, more fresher of the two in that. And I think if he's able to kind of set the pace, I could probably see him pull out a close decision. Interesting fight, but yeah, I think Wilson will probably pull out by points decision.
You know, and something I saw interesting, Andy, on the 3rd of April, that Jackson John England is fighting Jamel Herring in Australia.
Who?
Jackson John England, the guy who Wilson just fought, who was in a really good fight with God, who the hell? I was just was going to fight with Nathaniel May on a ZEPEDA undercard last October.
Right. Okay.
But he's fighting Jamel Herring in Australia in April. That's a bizarre fight.
Herring returning as well. Another one back for the bag.
Yeah, no shit. So anyways, here we are. Going to come to you, Rob Kelly, who you're having a weak appearance this week, my friend. I can't say that you've put in anything particularly insightful. But Liam Wilson against Oscar Valdez. This is your redemption chance. Why
Who the fuck is he talking to me?
Why don't you wow me?
He's doing that corner speech, Rob, where he's trying to rile you up, you know.
Yeah. Come on. Get it together, you
keep it up, and he's going to be
pussy.
fucking
Putting out fires himself. Fucking asshole.
Richard Towers, you want Richard Towers on your ass?
Come on, Rob, we're firemen.
Listen, you want insights? Here's an insight for you. A fella called Liam is not beating a fella called Valdez. Just doesn't happen. Anytime you put your money on a Liam in a big money fight, fucking no chance. So I'm going to say Valdez towards the end of the fight, KO. I think I like Wilson. He's all right. Like, I don't think he's fucking anything special. I think even again any stage I would have favored Valdez to beat him, even though he's come off with 2 losses. I still think he has enough in the tank to beat this guy pretty handily. So I'm going to say knockout for Valdez. I hope that's insightful for you, Matty. I've got a lot of insights coming, so just bear with me now.
All right. There it is. Big one for Rob. Boom. All right. Steve, you get the last word on this fight, and I'm leaning on you. Other than Dez, Andy doesn't pay attention. Rob insults most of the fighters. It's coming down to you and me. We're at the adult table here, Steve. We're the ones who just pour gravy on our potatoes and don't have to turn it into a little boat.
Oh yeah, Matty, are you referring to my venture into the world of gravy and biscuits last week?
I even forgot about that
God.
one.
That was disgusting. But I don't think they did it right, you said?
You'll have to bring the family over here, Steve, and I will make you a proper plate of biscuits and gravy.
No, it was horrible, man. It was in some North American chain store that's opened up over here, and it was like a scone I was dipping in a pot of gravy, and it wasn't nice.
It looked more like biscuits and like a brown sauce to me.
Yeah, it wasn't great. No, wasn't great. Anyway, I'm going to follow off from Rob's insight here. I'm going for Valdez stoppage in about round 10. I like Wilson, and you mentioned the fuckery in Navarrete, the fight. I would say that's an understatement. I'll never forget that. I can't believe, well, it's boxing, isn't it? There wasn't more made about the weight beforehand. Wilson weighing himself in the changing rooms and coming out weighing himself officially, and he's like, what, 4 or 5 pounds lighter?
There's no way that guy weighed 127 pounds.
Yeah. He's like, I literally just weighed myself, and on this weight, I've come out on the official scales, and I'm 4.5 pounds lighter. I mean, there was some bad fuckery afoot, man, but anyway, whatever. Navarrete got the job done. Wilson covered himself in glory that night. Very impressed with him. But unless Valdez has fallen off a cliff, I think he's experienced. He can punch. He'll hang. He'll bang with Wilson. And I think he'll outlast him is the thing. Wilson's there to be hit. He's been beaten twice. He's had moments in both those fights. He's been stopped twice. He's been dropped in other fights as well. He'll be there to be punched. And if Valdez is anyway still the puncher that he was once upon a time, they'll go at it. Wilson's durable enough to a point, and that point will come, and Valdez will punch through him in about round 10, I think.
All right. That's an interesting one. Actually, I don't know. I was talking to Joe Kennedy about what fights might be on this week's prediction league, and one of them, sadly for some people, I believe will be Estrada against Valle, which will make a lot of people very, very sad, because then they'll have to watch a women's fight with bated breath. And I was trying to talk them into Fundora and ZEPEDA for double points on that one. But we'll get to that in a second. The other one I think that's worthy is potentially Valdez against Liam Wilson. But Nutters, keep your eye out on that one. We'll see where that goes. But you could have a Friday fight on there with Estrada and Valle. So I hope you guys are prepared. But anyhow, it's coming down to the hardcore's hardcore, Steve. The lack of women's boxing knowledge could bite some people in their ass.
Yep, could well do.
I'll tell you. So anyhow, we're going to hop over, and on Saturday night in a card that has changed the main event, obviously, but it still has it's a pretty solid card. I'll be in the air, so I'm not even going to be tempted with buying the pay-per-view. Ha, ha, ha. Got you, PBC and Amazon, you bastards. But anyhow, we're going to just run up the undercard on this one. There's some decent fights. Some of these I think might be on like a free portion on YouTube or something like that. But let's see what we can talk about here. Rob, one you might want to look at if you get a chance. They got Kermel Moton going in against Anthony Cuba, who is 7-0-2. Moton, this is just his third fight. You know very well that he's a Mayweather protege, and we're watching this kid very closely. So that super featherweight fight is going to be on the card, I think maybe on the YouTube portion if they got that going, or whatever free portion they might determine to have. Then you're going to have 13-0 Mirko Cuello taking on 16-3-1 Suleiman Segawa. Elijah Garcia back in the ring, taking on Kyron Davis. Interesting fight there, actually. Interesting opponent. Julio Cesar Martinez defending his flyweight title against the undefeated Angelino Cordova. Could be in trouble there for the wild swinging Martinez. Brian Mendoza is playing switcheroo, and he'll be in there taking on Sergey Bahuchek for the WBC interim super welterweight title. And then we're going to have Landy Lara against Michael Zarafa. Zarafa very well could be in the right place at the right time. And Rolando Ramiro against Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz for the WBA 140-pound belt that Ramiro somehow possesses. But he might just hold on to it, even though he's an underdog. Des, let me go to you first. Give me your thoughts on this undercard.
Yeah, I like it. There's I think Cesar Martinez is in for a hard one, but it all depends on what version of Martinez turns up. I think if Angelino is crisp and accurate, I think he could catch Martinez out. But I've got to stress, it all depends on what type of Martinez turns up. He's an absolute buzzsaw and slightly unhinged, and you just don't know what you're going to get from him. And I think he's a sort of fighter.
He's a buzzsaw, slightly unhinged.
Yeah, he is, and you know, you can just see him. If he has a bad first quarter, you could see he just loses focus, and it probably. I don't think he's the sort of guy that can, in an intelligent way, turn a fight around. He'll either catch you, jump on you, or if you can evade that, I think you beat him. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think Mendoza and Boachek is a really good fight because you've got two guys being thrown in. And I like this one, and I think it's interesting because as we know, Mendoza, he caught Fundora out, and then TSZYU done Mendoza, and now Fundora's been thrown in with TSZYU. So I think this is an opportunity for Brian to redeem himself and claim a light middleweight title. I think Mendoza beats him, although Boachek's a good fighter with a good pedigree.
Didn't stop by Brandon Adams though. That's a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah,
He's
that's
not the
a red
biggest
flag.
puncher.
Yeah, yes, a red flag. So I do fancy Mendoza in that one. Yeah, they're the ones I'll be looking out for. I mean, I'm not overly keen on Lara, and I still don't know what I get from Rolando Romero. I still don't know how good he is. I still don't know if he's a bit of a circus performer. What do you think about Romero, if I can ask you?
You know what? I think a lot about him as a joke, and I think the opportunities he's had as a joke. But oddly enough, I think he's going to win this fight because I think 140-pound, 5'3", 5'4" Isaac Cruz. I just think that's a slow fighter, and I don't think he's going to be as dynamic getting past the threshold.
But I think Rolando. I don't think Rolando is difficult to hit. I think he's been fanned out at a level. Cruz can crack. Yeah, I kind of go with Romero on this one, but I'd like to see what version of Cruz turns up, and I'd like to see the type of questions he asks of Romero and how Romero deals with problems that Cruz could pose him. It'd be an interesting one on that to see how many doors can be opened for Romero. But at the moment, I'm a bit with you. I'm not overly impressed with Romero. But this fight might tell us a bit more about him, and this is probably a fight better suited to his level.
I agree with you, Matty. I'm noticing the weight as well. It'd be just like Romero to pull this off, wasn't it? He is awkward, but he can definitely punch. I know Cruz has a brawler reputation, but I think he's more defensively astute than people realise. I was rewatching bits of the Gervonta Davis fight last week, and he was rolling and weaving away from shots on the inside pretty well. He wasn't just there to be hit like a lot of people think. I always had him down as a bit of a Marcos Maidana type, but I was watching the pre-fight press conference as well between the two. They did it on Zoom for some reason. I don't know why. PBC must be broadcast, but he can't speak English. He was just sitting there completely oblivious. Rolly was coming off with all this stupid bullshit banter. It wasn't landing at all because Cruz was just looking there starry-eyed. So that'll help him that he can't understand what Romero is saying. But as you mentioned, Romero, he's an absolute madman, isn't he? It doesn't matter how many bad performances he lost to Jackson Martinez. He got a gift stoppage against Barroso. He was doing okay against Tank until Tank had enough and says, right, I'm going to stop this fool. And he keeps getting opportunities because he can talk shit. he's actually not. Apparently, he's not a bad guy away from the mic, but I don't think he's more of an awkward boxer than anything. He has like a judo background or wrestling or something. But yeah, if Cruz can catch up with him, he'll be in trouble. But Romero,
Steve,
yes.
No, sorry, mate. Go on. I cut across you. Go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I think the problem will be the 12 rounds. Romero looks okay, doesn't he, for 5 or 6 rounds? But is he going to be able to stay disciplined enough to keep Cruz off him?
I thought that, yeah, and that was my question I was going to ask you. I think the Cruz that lost to Gervonta Davis, weight aside, I think that poses a lot of problems for Romero.
So let me say this though. Despite all the fuckery and the stoppage and where it ended in the knockdown call, Romero did tag Barroso really hard in that round.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
He can punch.
But that shows that like even when he's down in a fight, he still was kind of with it enough to be finding shots. So I wouldn't doubt him coming out of this. And Cruz, although a good puncher, I mean, like you said, Steve, he's kind of good defensively, kind of walks you down and does a catch and shoot kind of thing more often than not. But he's not, a Gervonta Davis puncher, and he's not a clubbing, thudding puncher like Barroso either. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's gonna be that fleet-footed at 140 pounds, and I think the weight's gonna play to Raleigh's
I
hands.
agree. 2 things quickly. I think he walks around fat. He's been very inactive. He's been enjoying the lifestyle. I'm not saying that he hasn't been putting it in behind the scenes and everything, but I wonder late on in the fight if the weight will catch up on him. And the second point was, yeah, what have you done for me lately? Like you said, the likes of Ramirez and some other one, I can't remember the other person he fought, he overwhelms you. But if you get into a rhythm and get on the jab, he's difficult to deter, but he can be sort of moved around the ring. That Argentinian Romero he fought on Showtime, about 4 or 5 years ago, stunk the place out, and Cruz couldn't catch up with him for long spells and got frustrated, started hitting him low. So there is an element that Romero could dance him about a little bit, I think.
Yep, and we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it. I guess I'll try to catch maybe some replays in the right places. Maybe someone will hook it up. We'll see. Andy, what are your thoughts on this undercard, sir?
I like
undercard only.
I like undercard, mate. Well, apart from Lara, I'm saying to Steve there, and I really don't know about. I don't know why he's getting.
What's you guys' name for Zarafa? Yeah, like some
Zarafa,
like
Porn
party
star,
boy
wasn't
or
he?
something like that, or
he worked in some shit.
Stripper. He
Did
was
he
a
not?
male stripper, wasn't he? You called him the male stripper, Andy, didn't you, Zarafa? Isn't that what he was?
I can't mind. He
maybe
worked
party
on
boy. Maybe
some
I
sort of
called him a
tourist
party
ship or
boy,
something,
I
I believe, mate.
Oh, did he? I thought he was a stripper at some point.
But it'll be interesting actually because was he not meant to fight TSZYU, and then Zarafa pulled out for whatever reason, maybe an injury or whatever it was, and there was some kind of like shit back and forward. So it'll be interesting to see if these two maybe revisit it during maybe like fight week or whatever and that. Because there is a bit
Laura
of beef
hasn't fought in 22 months, Andy.
I know. The Zarafa shit on the
22
PBC, didn't he? He did an interview on one of the American channels, Andy, saying like they've told me that I can't sign with anybody else. I've got to wait for Laura. He's been out for 2 years. It is a joke.
Yeah, it is, mate. It'd be interesting about Mendoza actually. I mean, against the Ukrainian. I was rewatching some of that footage just not long ago. Actually, in terms of that knockout against FUNDORA, it was absolutely glorious. It was at the left hook, straight right hand. It was beautiful. Agree with what Des was saying about Martinez against Angelino. Could be anything. One fighter I'm looking forward to actually. I don't know if anybody's mentioned him, was Garcia. He was the one that stopped Vidal. He's only, I think he just turned 20 actually. I
Good
don't know anything
fighter.
about he is, and that Kyron Davis, I'm sure Benavidez fought him or maybe
He
stopped
did indeed. Yeah, he's decent fighter, Davis. This will be a good test for Garcia to see where he's at.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is a way better weight for him than fighting Benavidez at 168.
Yeah,
so he's not a 168 fighter by any stretches, Davis.
No, he's
certainly one of the fighters that with that Vidal victory. That was just the manner, just the way he done it. As I say, I think he was only 19 at the time. Vidal was tipped at that point. Was one of Samson Lukowicz's fighters.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 with the books basically going into it. That was a real toss-up.
Yep, and just the manner, just how he done it. So I'm looking forward to that one. Lara, as I said, no interest. Romero, I get what you're saying about the power shots. I just wonder in terms of how Cruz tries to get into kind of punching distance. You know how that Romero sometimes throws those kind of well punches. I just wonder if he can maybe catch Cruz with one of those uppercuts. Other than that, it'll be interesting. But I think Cruz. I don't know if he stops him because he is a bit wily, kind of hard to catch. I don't know if he's got the Gervonta power, considering that Gervonta actually kind of caught Romero kind of coming onto him for that final knockout. But I will go with Cruz probably points, probably majority decision.
Okay, interesting.
I've got a funny feeling that I'm sort of leaning towards what Andy's saying. I think if Cruz can apply the right pressure, I think we've not seen how good Romero's feet are, and I think Cruz could Cruz could tie Romero's feet up. I think that's a very big possibility.
I don't know.
He's also Romero's got quite long arms and that, so you wonder if they do get in the clinch, how it works there and that as well. Can Romero kind of get the punching distance? Can he get round about the elbows?
And I don't see Romero as a technically sound fighter, guys. I don't see him as someone that can, work close range, short range. I see Romero as he has power at long range or single shot power, but I'm not quite sure how he'd be in the pocket in an intense situation with a fighter like Cruz backing him up all the time. It's a clash of styles, absolutely.
Raleigh's problem is he's a chin up fighter, and he only throws punches at one speed.
He's not technically good, is he? He's not technically a good fighter, is he?
No, he's awkward as hell. He's dirty too.
He is.
But I will say this, and I'll say this leading into Rob. The one thing that Raleigh did well until he did catch that punch from Davis is he did a pretty damn good job of controlling the range. I mean, he kept Davis just outside of that jab until he didn't.
Davis is like that though, isn't he, Matty? People are going about it all the time. I'm not saying you, but they're like, oh, he loses all these rounds. He fights the same way, doesn't he? He gets the measure of you and bang.
And Steve, Matty, I think Gervonta is such a good fighter. I've said this before. I think he's got the Durans about him. And I think he susses you out early and realizes, I'm going to get you. And it's just a case of, I'll let you win rounds. I'll even let you have moments in this fight, but I'm going to get to you. And I think he knows once he gets to a kid, it's over. I think Tank's a bit different. I think sometimes guys fighting Tank could be flattered because you won a few rounds. But over on a bigger picture, Tank's just letting you get away with that before he gets to you.
I agree with that.
Sometimes you wait too long and too late, though, and we'll see if he comes to that day. Rob, what are your thoughts on this undercard, sir?
Yeah, interesting. I like this fight. I like Raleigh as a character since he's been proven innocent, obviously. Vindicated. I wouldn't have liked him other than that. Would have thought he was a very bad guy.
Well, interestingly, Rob, do you remember he was supposed to fight Tank, got done, supposedly.
Yeah.
Then Cruz stepped in for him, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is going to play into my prediction on this because I think that was a bit of optics the night Cruz put in. I think Cruz kind of traded off the reputation of having taken Davis the distance, but Davis had one hand that night. And I think if he had to, and he was preparing for somebody else, he came in as a late replacement. I think if they were having a look at Cruz, he would have fucking evaporated him eventually. Even though Cruz proved he could hold a shot, I don't think he was a fully fit Davis, even though I think even if he wasn't fully fit, he would have beat Raleigh. Raleigh did well in that fight. Yes, I agree. He gave the blueprint, if you like, on how to beat Gervonta Davis. You just have to take your head off the line, and I don't think Raleigh's able to do that. I think he kind of hangs his jaw out there. We've always known he's limited. He's a bit of a swinger. He's a bit of a swinger. He's the king of the swingers. He's very... I think he's technically decent, but I don't think he's great. And I think he has moments where he has no composure. But that night he fought Tank, he was right in the fight up until he got knocked out, which is the fucking classic. It's the old classic. It's the old classic British analysis. He was doing so very well until he got knocked out. He was right in the fight. But saying all that to say this, I think Cruz, the height of him, he fights out of the crouch. I think Raleigh can punch, and I think his head is going down the line. I'm going to predict a Raleigh knockout by a left hook somewhere in the middle rounds.
Ooh. Man, we're all over the place on this fight. Now, Rob, let me pose this question to you. Michael Zarafa, not a great fighter by any stretch of the imagination, but Arislandi Lara, going to be 41 years old next month, out of the ring for 22 months at this point in time. Is this just the place where, kind of like it was with Hopkins against Joe Smith Jr., where just generally not a hugely talented fighter might just be able to step in there and big man the older guy and get a signature victory that he really doesn't deserve, but it's right place, right time.
Well, as Jim Watt said the night Lennox Lewis knocked out Mike Tyson on the Sky card, good old Jim said, "Father time waits for no man." And you can talk about these two, how they would have matched up earlier in their career, but Lewis stayed on top, Lewis stayed fresh, and Tyson was old, and you can't turn back the hands of time. Lara, 2 years out of the ring, I think he's coming off a narrow loss, isn't he, in his last fight? I still think Lara probably has the fucking technical ability to beat anybody narrowly by stinking the place out. So I'm not like firmly kind of in either of these guys' camp. I'm not really sure who's going to be the decisive winner. I wouldn't rule out Lara stinking the place out, typical Cuban style, sticking him on the jab, a couple of moving him around a bit, fight him around for 12 rounds, and then be reinstated as middleweight champion or something. I don't know, no, yeah, probably the smart money should be on Zerafa UD here, I think.
Well, Lara's actually on a string of 4 straight victories at this point in time.
Rob. Oh, is he? Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Danny Garcia in August. Do you remember in the fight?
That's right. Yeah, that was pulled, wasn't it? At middleweight, wasn't it? That was a weird one.
Yep. And because he has the middleweight belt right now, that I'm trying to remember who he technically got it off of.
The fucking
it takes a good fighter to beat Lara. Takes a good fighter to beat Lara.
Lara in his day was brilliant. I on the night I thought he had Canelo by 2 rounds. Like, to be honest with you, I remember that night. I thought he had beat Canelo, but I understand why he didn't get the nod, because there was times he could have put his foot on the gas and he just chose to be defensive. But it's just not eye catching. Like, he didn't do enough to decisively fucking beat. You weren't going to get the fucking nod for beating Canelo anyway. But I had him beating Canelo back in the day. I think he was supremely talented. But 41 is 41. Do you know what I mean?
But see, the thing is,
Lara. Sorry, Andy, go on, mate.
See if Lara wasn't with the PBC, he wouldn't be getting any other opportunities elsewhere. Would like Hearn have him? Would Warren take him? It's just like, why is he getting airtime? It's like he's had his time, his opportunity. I mean, the last time he fought was Spike O'Sullivan, which was Steve mentioned 2 years ago in the chat there, who recently just got beat off. Was it Steve? He got beat. Was it last week? Earlier the month? Spike's
still fighting, yeah. Fuck's sake.
Spike lost last week on the Dillian White card. He got beat by some French kid.
You know, so I just don't get how likes of Lara still getting airtime at this point above someone else. I just
don't get it.
You know?
Yeah, and you're like, people like first time out with Amazon and PBC, and people like, fuck, I'm paying for this. Fuck,
such a strange selection for the fucking day. Like, that card was all wrong to start with. I mean, we're going to get to it obviously with ZEPEDA and Fundora, but that's a way better fight than fucking Keith Thurman, who'd been out of the ring for 3 years, fighting at a weight he's never fought at before, and has only kind of fought twice in 1 year, fucking twice in 10 years. Do you get me? Like, it was such a fucking strange fight to bring an Australian who's not a fucking American household name over. Maybe they're trying to make him a star on American television and need a high profile American fighter to do that. Like, but it was such a fucking strange fight for a pay-per-view debut, like, of the new PBC fucking streaming service. Really odd. Like,
let's get into that. And I kind of think this is a weird place. So let me just speak from just purely from the sense of preparation in boxing. So you're TSZYU. You're preparing for Keith Thurman, who is a 5'8" orthodox welterweight who likes to box and move. And now, with 2 weeks' notice, you're going in against a 6'5" southpaw. I think this is a recipe for disaster. That's just me. That's just me.
Steve, you think like ZEU's going to get upended here?
Yes, I do. Steve, your thoughts?
Parlay, baby.
No, I don't think he'll get upended. I have heard it said that this was the kind of nice little feeling in process for Prime Video, as you've got to call it, before the Canelo Munguia fight. So that's why we're kind of getting this as the debut, and then they get everything ironed out and see what the crack is when it comes to Canelo Munguia. That's what I heard said, and it kind of makes sense. I don't know whether it's true or not.
So, yeah.
As for ZEPEDA, he's a throwback. He'll just keep knocking down the Skittles until he corners the very best fighters. And I suppose Fundora is a bit of a human Skittle, really. Absolutely different style. Like you said, Matty, Keith Thurman. He's been on the couch for years, fights when he wants, but he is pretty athletic. And early on, I think he might have given ZEUDA a few problems before ZEUDA caught up with him. But now he's fighting this big southpaw, 6'6", absolute big lanky streak of piss. ZEPEDA loves investing in the body. That's what would have broken down Thurman, I think, and that he'll have plenty of body to aim at here. As FUNDORA rightly said, I was reading an article, an interview with him during the week. He said there wasn't much wrong with the Mendoza fight, apart from the ending. He basically did what he needed to do, and he was putting a bit of a beating on Mendoza, who soaked it up and then caught him with some really good shots. And by the way, for the record, I think Mendoza will beat Baharchuk on the undercard. But FUNDORA, different style, but ZEPEDA, I think he's just got that air of a guy who's just going to keep walking through fire. He calls himself the Soul Taker. He's 29. He's looking to get out of his dad's shadow. He's coming over to America. I think he's going to beat FUNDORA by any way necessary. And he can punch. He's aggressive. I think he'll have trouble at times. But FUNDORA will be there, straightforward, straight in his grill, there to fight him. And that'll eat into ZEPEDA's hands, absolutely. Might not get the stoppage, but either way, he'll win.
Now, people might think my position was because I'm a ZEPEDA hater or something. No, I like ZEPEDA a great deal. But when I heard this announced, and I was just thinking about potentially styles and stuff like, yes, FUNDORA totally open to that left hook. That's a live shot to knock his ass out. But my mind flashed back to Lucas Matisse against Victor Postol. Just the smaller guy with not enough upper body movement getting eaten up on the outside by a tall fighter with straight punches and eventually getting clipped by long uppercuts as he gets frustratingly tries to work his way in. Des, am I imagining too much here?
No, it's plausible and it's feasible, and you're absolutely right. In a lot of circumstances, this would be too much of a change, and they'd probably ask for an extension. But I think TSZYU is the real deal. I think TSZYU is a really good fighter, and I think he beats a good Keith Thurman, and I think he beats a good FUNDORA. So I think he's one of these guys with a bit of mindset of however you want it, whoever you want it, I'll beat him or I'll beat him, and it tells you an awful lot about TSZYU that he's done this and he's taken this fight. I think the fact that FUNDORA is 6'5" just gives more of a target for TSZYU to hit. I think TSZYU smashes him. I think he lights him up. I think FUNDORA will do well to hear the final bell.
It sounds like you're with the odds makers and the money, which widened out after the open of about 3-1. What are your thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, I agree with what Steve was saying. I mean, that's a lot of body to hit. I was just having a look at some pictures there. I think there was a in-ring standoff. I think ZEPEDA standing roughly just like in terms of the top of his head, just roughly just slightly under FUNDORA's chin. So yeah, body, hit the arms. Plus as well, that was a bad knockout against Mendoza. Has he fully recovered from that?
It was a bad knockout. You got that right.
Fucking brilliant. But yeah, Des is spot on as well. It's all about mentality with ZEPEDA. He has got that fighter's mentality. Next one up, whoever it is, he was chasing Charlo. He's dropped off. Thurman, he's dropped off. I think he was even talking during the week there that he was saying it was easy to make the Terence Crawford fight. Apparently he's wanting to make that, so I'm happy to see that one if it's possible. It seems he's saying the right things.
Been installed as the mandatory to the winner.
There we go. We're all done for that one. Then if and ZEPEDA needs a kind of breakout name. Everybody knows that in order to become that superstar, that he needs a fighter like a Terence Crawford. That's what we need to see. But in terms of this fight, yeah, he probably will have his moments where he's going to have a struggle. But once he starts kind of landing his shots, mate, it's the left hook is going to be the key. If he times the left hook to the ribs, and if he's able to land something upstairs, it's going to wobble him. ZEPEDA is a bit of a kind of killer once he starts to get you on the hook and that. He has had a bit of hand problems. I remember he was talking. Was it the Japanese guy he fought? Was it Arakawa he fought? His name? I think it was Arakawa. Beat the shit out of him.
Nahito Arakawa. That was Figueroa that beat the shit out of him.
No, yeah. Who was the Japanese guy that ZEPEDA fought?
Inoue. Was it?
No. Was it Inoue?
I think he did fight. Did he fight Inoue?
I think it might have fought the normal size.
Other Inoues are available.
Let's go take a look.
Yeah, Takeshi Inoue. Yep.
There you go.
Him.
Yep.
10 rounds.
Yep.
12
What does
rounds.
Castle?
There was one of them.
what
It might be him then. He beat the shit out of him for 12 rounds, and he was kind of pressing for the stoppage. I think he said, and he said, I ended up hurting my hand trying to get the stoppage, and he ended up saying, "Fuck it, I'll just go the distance." The guy was just too tough, and ended up hurting his hands. I'm sure he's had to have surgery as well. Don't know if it was the elbow. He's had the elbow problems, or if it was hand problems as well. He
Got
needed
bitten by a
surgery on.
dog, didn't he?
Got bitten by a dog and that. But I'll say ZEPEDA probably late stoppage. I think he'll be a wee bit too relentless, and I think FUNDORA will probably be a wee bit kind of wary about getting knocked out again, possibly as well. So he'll look to kind of maybe keep it long. But I think ZEPEDA he'll just punch those long arms and that, just try and get him to drop, then start hitting the body more often, and he would just be able to stab, spear him in the body if he can try and get it. Yeah, he's got a good jab, a good left hook if he can tee it off, and then obviously once he starts getting the range down a wee bit more, he'll start dropping in the right hand as well.
Okay. Well, Rob, you'll get the last word on this one. I will tell you, prefacing this for your position, that the last time ZEPEDA fought a southpaw was 2018. He fought a couple of them back-to-back, including Wade Ryan, who is better than his record suggests, who ZEPEDA Tim Tszyu in the first
Drew on
round
Monday
of their
night
fight.
as well against the Japanese, Wade Ryan.
Yeah, right on. I like that guy. So, what are your thoughts on this one, my man?
Like I've been saying for years on the pod, that FUNDORA frustrates the shit out of me because he shouldn't fight the way he does for a fellow with his attributes. He's a fucking 6'5" southpaw who's fighting guys that are 5'8", and he's always in range to be hit with his head in the fucking air because he fights somehow for some reason on the inside. He just can't seem to get popping the jab. So if he can fucking get behind the jab for 6 rounds and put it in Tszyu's face, hook off him, turn him, I'd say make for a really good fight and ask some questions to Tszyu. Looking at it now, like Steve said, they were lining up the Canelo fight. They may also have been lining up Tszyu to look really good against Thurman and then set up a fight between him and Charlo, because PBC's always been Charlo's guy. So getting eyes on Tszyu, bringing in a new market, and then making a big money fight for Charlo. So Bud Crawford's marked that card. He's used his WBO status to invoke the clause to go ahead and be installed as number one contender. So he's there for the winner. So Tszyu, I think smart money's probably on a standard Tszyu win where he just buzzes through him, gets a decision. But I think it'll be a good fight. I think Tszyu will have to maybe answer some questions along the way. I think FUNDORA comes to fight all the time. We saw in the last fight, the Ortega one, where he got knocked out. He was, like Steve said, he was still winning the fight. He was volume punching. He was getting on top of the guy. He just hung his jaw out there like he always does. I don't know if Tszyu has that kind of one punch knockout power either, though. So it might be a kind of a war of attrition a little bit. But I think it'll be an interesting fight. It's a way better fight for me than the Thurman one, because I think Thurman was just brought in for the name, and he's too long out of the ring and too small. And I think it would have been an easier fight for Tszyu. But yeah, this is a right good fight. But I think smart money's on Tszyu decision, but we'll see.
I'd kind of be shocked if Tszyu wins if it goes to a decision. To be honest with you, I think I think he is probably the likely winner, but
it's a bigger draw though. It's Tszyu versus Crawford is a way bigger draw than FUNDORA versus Crawford, so you got to factor that in as well.
It is. Beat Bob Boop put in a good question there, and I'm gonna have Steve put that in the queue for next week. He threw in a super chat of $4.99, so I'll make sure that we get that one taken care of next week. Steve, I'm sure you'll be on top of that one.
Yeah.
So, but that is a good question. So we'll get to ponder that one, guys. What if Joe Louis versus Jack Johnson, and who do you think Conor McGregor will fight if he gets a boxing match? So ponder away on that one over the week. But this is an interesting weekend for fights. I mean, it basically kicks off Wednesday and we're going all the way through. And Steve, isn't there a card on Sunday next week while we're doing this too?
Oh, I'm not sure, is there?
Isn't that the card with old...
Oh, Pulev is that one?
No, there's a different one.
Not soft now, eh? I think he's tore his bicep or something like that.
Yeah, Char's out of that one, Andy. He's got a new opponent, but I can't find out who it is. I did hear it somewhere.
Yeah, let me try to find where that one was. I thought you guys had because I had some.
What night was that, mate?
I think it's on the 31st. Let me try to find the day that that is.
Next Sunday. I don't know.
So that's got to be the 5th. I'm just
From
trying to
where
figure
in
out
the
what
UK?
page it's
Sky.
on.
Oh, Wardley against Clark.
Yeah, that'll be going on while we're doing the podcast.
Oh, really? Is that 31st of March?
Florian Marku against Chris Congo.
Right. There you go.
Callum Simpson against Dulu Mabe. Fidel Riley against Mikel Lau.
Didn't realise that was so soon.
Oh, Alan Babbage. The Savage.
And
the Savage
Ben Whitaker
Babbage.
on there as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Ben Whitaker. That's enough to switch you off now. Like,
yes. So, Steve, I hate to say it, but we should probably finish after the show with this one, actually, unfortunately. Why don't you give me a quick run of how you think you could see this card going, and we'll see it go down live next week.
Let me bring it up quickly.
Are we willing or fuck?
I can't even tell you what I think about it. I think Wardley will beat Fraser Clark, if that's any use. I don't think they fancied it. And they have high hopes about Clark, which are maybe above his station. I don't think he's probably as good as they think as a pro. Who else? Marku Congo. That's the Congo. Sorry, that's not a bad fight, actually. I'll tune in for that. Callum Simpson against some fella. Riley Lowell. That's a good fight, too. Babbage against Steve Robinson. That's the big Ivan Drago guy. Leon Willings, the new Wellington, against Ben Whitaker from Wolverhampton. So there's a Wellington enthused fight.
Who did Leon Willings lose to?
See,
he
lost
lost
to
8-19 Robbie Chapman.
Babbage Robinson fight could be gold. It could be fucking knockout.
There we go.
I think that Babbage could knock him out.
If it was the Steve Robinson that fucking fought Hamid, probably.
Maybe we're going to be going till about midnight next week, aren't we?
Yeah,
that's a shit heavyweight fight, by the way. That class. What are they trying to do there? Like, Sky, isn't it putting that on?
Yeah.
It's like Buatsi Aziz. Like, it's not fucking. It's just not a big fight. Like, it should be a big fight, kind of, but they're just not working it right. Like, nobody gives a fuck about this fight, do they? Like, honestly, it's a fucking non-event. Like,
didn't even know it was on.
Exactly.
So, as much as we'd like to go on and on, Des, I'm going to give you last words on this card before we go to Steve with the value of the week.
Just to say, to pick up on what Rob said, Sky don't seem to heavily push cards, and they might have a real go at it fight week. But I didn't even know this was on next week. Is this on Easter Sunday?
It is. They're saying,
I didn't
"Fuck
even know
Jesus," we're punching each other in the face.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. I think it's Wardley and Clark's a good one. Marku Congo's a good one. I think Riley's and the Wild is a good one. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I agree with Rob. Sky don't push this. They don't push enough. This should be a big. Wardley and Clark should be a big deal.
Get them on Soccer AM or something. Do you know what I mean? Do something with them. Like, it's fucking the same. It's going to go the same way as Buatsi and Aziz. Nobody's going to know the fucking thing was on, and it's going to be fucking.
You're right.
It's going to under deliver on the night anyway. So, but at least, like, if I know we used to give Eddie pelters when he was on Sky, and rightly, like, but if he'd had these two dubs on fucking Sky, man, he'd have had this, like, fucking. It would have been the fucking greatest fucking fight since fucking Ali Fraser, like Riddick Bowe. I'm talking Bowe Holyfield. I'm talking Fraser Ali. You know what I mean? Fraser Clark.
Him and Johnny Nelson on Sky Sports News.
Fraser Clark is the future of the British heavyweight boxing. He's here to take over for AJ.
Two guys that genuinely hate each other.
You know, fresh out of Sheffield training with the great Rob McCracken at MBE. Oh, glorious times.
Adam Smith.
Halcyon times.
One of them gets dropped. He'd be like, "Can he rise again like Jesus on Easter Sunday?" We'll never forget.
He'll move the rock.
Oh dear. Right. Did you have your say on that one, Andy? Yeah.
What one?
That Clark Wardley show.
I just whatever, mate. Just attribute my comments to it's just whatever you want.
Is it on Sky or DAZN? Says I'm pretty sure it's Sky.
It's Sky.
Yeah, it's Sky. Yeah.
So Eddie will be watching that just to shit on Ben Shalom. I wonder if Ben will be ringside, by the way. You know, he's might be the saviour of Sky.
In Rahway State Prison by then, who knows? Right, I think that's everything. Anything else, boys? Before we go on to Value of the Weeks. I think we've done everything to death, haven't we? I don't think we can cope with another card. I certainly can't, anyway.
It's going to be chaos next week,
insights there, Wellington.
It's going to be chaos this week trying to get all the downloads.
I know, exactly.
You've got 3 cards for America to watch. You're like,
Oh.
bloody hell.
God. Right. We're going to Bay of the Weeks and get out of here. I haven't got that many tonight. Matty's hanging about somewhere.
We've got a new
Des is
site to
here.
watch him for you, Steve. That's the
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely, Andy. Andy's here. Rob's here. I've got a nice little video to play us in as well from Damo. He sent this about 3 weeks ago, and I've neglected to play it until now. Ryan Garcia, who knows where he's at, but this is him arriving at the press conference.
Doug? So all white on a white horse. We've seen some entrances. Shout out Prince Nassim.
Look, it looks like he's getting off it.
Okay, but then he has circus performers in front of him. I should have known. I saw those ladies outside. I should have known they weren't boxing fans.
The ladies in white?
Well, you see the hula hoops.
Oh, they're going to be... Okay, oh, now I see them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to do... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's choreography involved.
There is, I mean, when did Ryan learn how to ride a horse? Because you got
Probably just now.
Okay, he's got women with hula hoops.
Okay.
Dancers. All our boxing media.
Yeah, let's
everybody
hope the fans
with a camera.
and the boxing media don't freak out the horse. Let's get him here.
How is he going to get... I did not know this was happening. I'm not pretending to be shocked.
I just want to see if they let the horse inside the club.
Oh, he's not on a horse.
What is he on?
What is he?
He's on
guy's
somebody's shoulders. But I had seen a horse earlier.
What the hell? Who is that? Is that helmet for Fight Hype?
I don't know.
Is that who that is?
I don't know who
What's
they
his
are.
name?
Imagine
It's
fucking
him, eh?
commentating on that. Imagine
What a
commentating
helmet,
on
man.
that. I saw those ladies, and I suspected they weren't boxing fans.
Please, someone in the chat, tell me if that's that guy for Fight Hype. Please tell me if
I
it
don't
is.
know.
I'm going
Is
to
it
block him. if it is.
Villejas, isn't he the fight type guy? I don't know.
When did Ryan
the horse.
Garcia learn how to ride a horse? Fuck off, man, will you? What's he doing?
That's what I'm saying, man. You had guys in the chat that were saying you wanted to see if the horse was like an offspring of Christopher Reeve or something like that, you know?
Oh dear, King Ryan.
Imagine he fucking turn up like Roy Rogers, the horse doing tricks and all. Ryan Garcia shooting full pistols in the air and all. Fucking.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Some of the younger listeners won't get that one.
I see he got his Twitter account back, eh?
Oh, has he?
Aye, he got it back, aye.
He just turned that off himself, didn't he? Fucking shithead.
We missed him. He's good value. Oh, King Roy.
Can you imagine if he gets iced in the first minute of that fight?
Oh, he does a Paul Briggs and goes down. Wouldn't be surprised.
Aye, like a fresh air shot or something
Wouldn't
like that.
be surprised.
A skiting shot.
Exactly.
Take that back.
MB's asking about the Pulev Char fight. Char's out. There's a
Aye, Char's
replacement.
out. Aye.
Char's out. He's hurt himself.
Oh,
Anyway.
no.
Got it. That's one fight we're not going to have to talk about. Never mind Ryan Garcia. Man City told they should be relegated to the conference amid insane Nottingham Forest, Everton PSR verdicts. Bit of football talk here. Tony Bellew has given his thoughts.
What's he doing talking about
on Man City's looming charges?
What minute here? When Tony produces a video of him playing football at that level, he's allowed an opinion. Until then, be quiet, Tony. Anthony,
Why are they asking him though?
Yeah, exactly. You all right, champ? You want to run, champ?
What was that? Steve, what was that Liverpool keeper's name? It was in goal. Remember, he absolutely fucked up the European Cup final. Karius. Was it Karius?
Oh,
no, it was...
Oh, yes, Karius. That's right. Karius,
aye. And Tony Bellew came out and says, Rob, put on the accent for me. You should retire, mates.
So retire, mate. Simple as that. You want to run, champ?
I see that, and he's trying to get the bag, and he's trying to fight. Was it Carol Froch? Oh dear.
That's the thing. Nobody probably even asked him.
Eh?
Just jumps in. Tone does what he wants. Never beat. Someone said on Twitter last night, just think if Campbell Hatton beats James Flint, he'll have beaten one more champion than Tony. That was a bit brutal, Menti, Andy. That one, wasn't it?
Savage, but
he didn't.
We're only here for that's true, but we're only here for the facts about what happened, you know.
Oh dear me. Anyway, Javonta has been tweeting out. Fuck that pillow-fisted, big nostril-looking MF. I'm beat the TF out of him anytime, any place, anywhere. Javonta there going in on Devin Haney.
Was it Haney?
Yeah.
Did you see that he block numbered Ryan Garcia?
Oh, did he?
I
I don't blame him. Do you? Who knows what type of messages Garcia's sending out?
Do you want to hear about people eating babies and all? Just trying to have his dinner. Fuck off, Ryan, will you? Fuck's sake.
Yeah, dude, put your fucking number on my phone. Any problem, pal. There you go. Number to the local whorehouse.
Airplane mode in that phone, Andy, at nights, man, to try and get away from King Ryan and his Bohemian Grove.
Well,
text.
you would actually. Spot some kids.
Oh dear. What else have we got here? A Misfits Boxing outnumbered match 2 versus 1. We had Fox the G versus the most evil tag team, Vitaly versus Modine. We had Yudi versus someone, blah, blah, blah. Did you see this, Andy? Obviously, you didn't watch it. The thing, it got swatted, apparently, which I wasn't aware of. But apparently, someone rings the SWAT team, and and the SWAT team came and shut down the show, didn't they? Yeah, they've done it to this show, apparently.
The SWAT team? Like,
aye. You know, apparently,
feds?
yeah, they ring up and say that there's some kind of incident. Usually they do it to each other, to these fellow gamers, apparently. And the next thing, the whole SWAT team turn up at their house.
Now, Steve, I'm not a betting man per se, but if I were to lay a wager, I would say one of these people didn't want to get their ass kicked. So they called it in so they could get the event tossed.
Well, I don't know if you've been following events in Moscow recently and that, but can you imagine if you done that and it was like Russian Spetsnaz turning up, they'd be getting their ears cut off.
The fucking it's a Twitcher streamer thing, isn't it? They're always doing it to each other. They're like, you swatted me. They do it to porn stars and that, like they send SWAT teams to their house and all fucking nutcases. Don't give any fucking idiots ideas in the chat. We don't want any fucking reminds me of a fucking lad I knew from
That's a
Wexford.
fucked up thing to do. People like get fucking iced because of that and shit.
Someone's already died from
sitting in their house and they come breaking in thinking you're a danger.
Well, allegedly, this story is alleged. This is an alleged tale. I don't know this to be fact, but apparently there's a fella from Wexford was going through a rough breakup with the missus, and he said to her, like, I'm going to shoot myself or whatever, or fucking whatever, I'm going to end it. I've got a gun in the car. Didn't have a gun in the car, like, was just trying to mostly blackmail the broad, but she fucking called the fucking armed response unit and they turned up at his house.
Mate.
Only to find no gun. Lads. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Things you got to do, get the cops to
exactly. They're lucky. They're lucky they turned up at all.
It's true, mate. See if you did it, unless you say, listen, I've just seen a gun there or a machete or that, man. They'll not come out unless it's something like that.
No, well, do you blame them?
You got to milk it a bit to try and get a bit of action over here, you know.
I didn't say this, but I was reading about it, Andy, and apparently, like, Todd Grisham and all was like, we're going to have to leave the arena while the place gets cleared out and everything on DAZN. So there you go.
Poor Todd Grisham has been used to that. Jesus Christ.
He was running like Canelo. There's some bad memes going about Matty, isn't there?
Yeah, and Canelo kind of deserves every one of them after.
He's not making it easy for himself, is he? He's talking like he wants 200 million to fight Benavidez. Like, why 200 million for Benavidez? Like, that's clearly pricing him out of the fight, because any number that he said, say he said 100 million, Turkey was just like, yeah, I'll give you 100 million. Come on. That's in my back pocket. Come on, let's make it happen. But he's saying 200 million now, like that. Nobody's going to fucking pay that for that fight. Like,
no.
Benavidez is now talking about rehydration clauses and that, so he's chasing that bag as well.
Yeah, he's saying he brings nothing to the table. There we go. Yep, Canelo Alvarez asked if he respects Mike Tyson's opinion after Tyson called for him to fight David Benavidez. Canelo said, I'd respect his opinion if he was sober. Ooh. Shots fired from Canelo.
Tangy.
Yeah, likes to drink himself, but there you go.
Let's just start talking about Tyson being high.
Let's fucking go.
Here you go, Rob. Dillian White last week against Christian Hammer in Castle Bar. Quite the stool. We're saying good job didn't lob that stool at Spike O'Sullivan.
Yeah,
it's a fucking bar stool.
Looks like they're prepping an old black man for cardiac surgery.
Fucking Jesus.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it? Buddy McGirt. That's Buddy McGirt, that is, with the back to him. He turned up in Castle Bar. No messing about.
He must have loved Mayo, him.
Who doesn't love mayo, mate? Bit of cheese and ham, it's lovely.
Oh dear. What else have we got? Let's have a look. There's Tokaru. He messaged us on Twitter. He says, overnight, Michael Hunter returns, scoring a retirement win over the completely overmatched and unfit Ignacio Esparza. A waste of time for the 34-year-old. He said, I don't know if Hunter is value of the week or if the opponent is, or if I am, for watching the fucking thing. And there you go. There's a close-up shot.
Oh, that's a specimen on that right-hand side, man, eh?
Hunter can't even look at him. He's that disappointed in where his career is. Look, he's like, fuck, man, what am I doing? Like,
Tell me your career's over in a photo.
He's looking at that gut, man. He's like, easy work, baby. Easy work. This is bag work.
Chinese. Chinese.
How do you say Bosch? Earlier, what was it? Argentina? What was
Mexico,
that? Mexico,
I think. It was in the backwater.
That's an El Bosch.
La Bosch. That's a La Bosch. That's what that is.
El Gordo.
Caroline Dubois was tweeting out. She says, praying for the day when I'm involved in fights as legendary as this. Billy Boxing nominated her. What fight was she referring to, Matty? Eric Morales. Against Pacquiao.
Fucking A. Aspire to greatness.
Yeah. Not sure about that one, Caroline, to be honest.
Nobody wants that punishment.
Jesus.
Metal Beard was celebrating this weekend's fight with Rita, Sue, and Bob too.
We're having a gang bang.
There's one for the older listeners.
Having a ball. We're having a gang bang up against the wall.
Hey,
hey, that was a legendary fucking.
Oh, class film.
Something, man. I tell you what, you would never get it on. I don't think it's ever been shown again on TV. Actually,
no, they don't show it these days.
It's racist as fuck, by the way.
What the fuck was this?
Get yourself a fire stick. Everything is on it. I was watching the fucking Last Dragon from 1985 yesterday. You get anything on there.
There you go.
No, allegedly I was.
British film, what else have we got? Let's have a look. Dan the Boxing Man tweeted this out and said the hardest puncher at 135, George Kambosos, is going to give Loma his first KO loss. Watch the clip, loads of laughing faces. George wasn't too happy with the comment, it's fair to say. He says, eat a dick and grow up, you ugly cunt. More millions than you could even count. May the 12th, reshaping and editing another man after sparring 12 rounds. Go get some pussy and then a kiss.
So just how many people did that assassin take out for Kambosos to be the hardest puncher at 135?
I don't know.
Kambosos loves a nibble, doesn't he? You just have to say some
he
shit about him and he's straight on you, like talking about his millions and his size of his balls and whatever. Like,
Rob's right. He does,
I mean, to be fair, he's gotten more payday off of beating an impaired opponent than anybody in history that I can think of. My God,
he fat shamed the guy tremendously one time. I gotta give it to him. Fucking fella said something about him and he absolutely flamed him. I can't remember exactly what he said at the moment, but it was very good.
It was. Right, final one for me. The Quote has brought out a new single, Pop My Shit. Jesus. It came out on the 17th of the 3rd, directed by Lyric Da Queen. There you go, there's the Quote. Look at that photo in the middle. Didn't see that when I got sent.
Oh my word. Jimmy, that shit, man.
He's got the Janet Jackson Super Bowl, Lil Kim MTV Award titty sticking out of the fucking biker jacket. And then a little pink number for some reason in the corner with the stunter with the sunglasses. Pop my shit. I tell you what, I don't know if she has the best chin in women's boxing, but she has the fucking best neck because she fucking try anything. Like, what did she? Fucking boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, rapping. Like, this is not a good lane for rappers and boxers. There's a good crossover between both communities, but there's never been one that can actually do it. I almost have forgot Roy's the GOAT in two genres. But the rest, like, have been pretty bad. Like, fucking between Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, and Clarissa Shields, I don't know what the fuck. And AJ, Jesus Christ.
Don't you remember Oscar's Latin album?
Oh, yeah, the ballads. That was nice, wasn't it?
I do not, but I fucking feel like a fucking...
And Manny Pacquiao, oh, he was terrible.
Oh yeah. Sometimes when we touch.
Brother Nazim had a great one about that. He said you have to be able to let a good at fighting when let that motherfucker sing, and he hasn't got a note in his head. He said, he's good at fighting when no one's going to tell him that he can't sing. Nothing's going to change my love for you on television.
Oh, he's terrible. Yeah, the chat don't seem too fussed by the quote. M. Lithgow says, "Who's listening to that dirge?" Well, maybe he's talking about us. Johnny says, "I'm very confused looking at this." And Will You Stand 86 says, "Yuck, man, would rather pump Kelly Maloney." So there you go. That's the view on the quote.
So well.
These are our listeners.
Oh dear. Right, I think those are all the ones I've got, Matty, this week. Anything?
What's the
from
fucking
you?
airplane doing in the background?
Oh, it's gold plated, Rob. Look, it's a gold plated airplane.
A stack of cash there. I wonder if it's a stack of fives there or something.
It looks like she's taking a private jet to go to the Gold Collection Club in Vegas to see if the gold and the growth flying with her together. What the fuck is she doing, man?
That's Floyd's tax accountant.
I can't wait to hear this, man. Dominic sent me this a while back, by the way. I never got around to it, and I can't wait to hear this. I'll be back next week with my deductions.
There you go.
What are you gonna do?
Matty.
Listen to Clarissa Shields on Saturday night? Out of your
I'll have it on the background when I'm watching fucking Wadley and Clark.
Anything from you, Matt?
I got nothing. Fuck me.
Nothing from Matty. Andy, anything from you?
Nothing for me, mate. Dry week.
Yes!
Ooh,
I'm
dry
not
week.
alone, thank Christ.
Dry week indeed. Roberto, anything from you?
No, nothing for me. Oz.
Oh, Rob, nothing
I
from
thought
Oz,
I had
nothing
one, but
from-
memory's not what it was.
It's been murder, actually. I mean, I swear to God, the boxing is just like it's killing me just now. It's got to be
Nothing
killing
from
you
Oz.
guys.
Nothing from Des. So let's go through them quickly. We've got Tony Bellew giving his opinion. Devonta Davis giving his opinion. We've got the Misfits swatting each other. We've got Canelo hiding. We've got Canelo dissing Mike Tyson. We've got Dillian on the bar stool. Go on, Rob.
Sorry, I had one. There was Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe did a kind of a fucking YouTube vlog kind of thing, and they put it up on Insta, and it was like
What?
the two of them. Yeah, it was like the two of them recounted their fights, but like CT is not funny, man. Like I find the fucking, but it's not funny. It's somehow
Why'd you nominate him?
Because it was like 2 minutes and 49 seconds of me trying to make out what the two of these fuckers were saying to each other. And it was a hard watch, man. It was very difficult to get through. Almost like this. But yeah.
You're only here for half the fucking show.
Yeah, but it's the best half. No, but I love the competitive spirit of the two of them, that they still won't fucking let it go. Like that, the fucking Holyfield's like, I beat the shit out of you now. I'll throw you under the table right now. Like, it's like it was kind of like Carnes and Leonard, but
Did
again,
you get that through the subtitles?
yeah.
I just need Razor Ruddock and James Toney in there as well, Rob.
Oh Jesus, James Toney, so hard to listen to. Fuck's sake, imagine having a conversation between B Hop, James Toney, fucking Riddick Bowe, and Evander Holyfield around a round table. Like, fuck's sake.
Chaired by Scott Quigg.
And probably introduced by Terry Norris.
Fuck's sake.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Oh dear. Right, what else have we got? Michael Hunter against the Fat Lad. We've got Caroline Dubois seeking greatness. We've got Rita Sue, Terry, and Sandy too. We've got George Cambosos going in on Twitter trolls. We've got the Groat popping her shit, and Ryan appearing on a horse on the back of his mates. Who are you going for, Andy, this week?
It's going to be the goat, man. What the fuck's all that about? I mean, I thought I could do something better than that fucking dot matrix thing. Even the private jet as well just has the mix, and then the weekend of like spout of blood. I don't get it.
She's not really like making people buy into the brand that she's like this elite fighter when she's got a fucking flyer designed by a fellow who does fucking, stripper flyers in Vegas or something. It's like the fucking most low budget shit. Like she's dressed like she's a fucking, I don't know, man. And what a predictable name for a fucking Clarissa Groat Shield single. Pop my shit. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to pop my shit. That's what she'll be saying all day on Twitter. I'm going to pop my shit regardless. Fellas coming to the gym with loaded gloves to come here. I'm going to pop my shit about this. Fuck off.
Who you going for her then, Rob?
It has to be this week, like, fuck's sake. Look at that, like.
Vote. Matthew, you going for?
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought about, carbonating my ass, but we'll give it to the goat. Yeah, what does pop my
Liar.
shit mean? Isn't it like, I don't know what's going on there. Don't know the lingo.
Go on then. I'll go for the goat as well. Congratulations, Clarissa. We haven't seen you in the ring lately, but you are the Belly of the Week winner for episode 565.
Her
Back
ring
to you,
has been
Matthew.
popping her shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I don't know anymore. Why the fuck did we watch this stupid goddamn sport? And
I don't know.
crazy
Fucking asked me said this for the last 5 years. I don't know.
For knockouts like that one in Italy, that's about the only thing I can fucking suggest. But Jesus, man, it's testing my patience. Like,
Hey, Rob, I gotta ask: are you guys like the idiots over here? And do you put like green food dye in your beer on St. Patrick's Day?
No. But speaking of Patrick's Day, I was supposed to come. No, I was supposed to come on the pod last week, but I went drinking with lads from Astro for Paddy's Day, and I went out early, like. And I remember saying to them, "I'm going because I'm going to be on the pod," and then woke up next morning, couldn't have fucking remember how I got home or anything else. Oh, fuck's sake!
right, Matty, sign us out. It's bedtime.
Yeah, might have been for the best. You might have been not too agreeable if you would have
would have been. Yeah, that was God was having me out that night. Like that was fucking TKO. Fuck that.
Well, it was a good one. I'm looking forward to obviously going to the fight next week and getting back here to talk about it. Steve will be hosting. And we will definitely pick up that question from Beatbot Boop, who threw us in that nice $4.95 super chat in there. We do appreciate you, sir. We've had Dez on here this week. We had Steve, we had Rob, we had Andy, me, your host, Matt. And we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in this week. And we'll see you at the same time next week.
We'll never forget.
Golly, that's good happening.
We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch. I've never met a fucking swank that can fight me.
I fell asleep.
You're a fucking bum, you're a fucking asshole.
Rumpo fucking Steltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7 year ain't. I will fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I love boxing sounds. Simple as that.